What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 12 JJK Chapter 331 Advertisement. Yaya Oga was in the laboratory yesterday. Inadvertently made a cursed spirit with a stable structure of magic power. After a night of observation, cursed spirit has no energy loss. But there is no real cursed spirit's ability to freely absorb cursed power. But this is still a very happy thing. So in the first time of that research report, I couldn't wait to come to the house of everything. Boss, just yesterday, we finally happened to. Oh, no, we finally took a big step forward after devoting ourselves to development. Yaya Ogawa didn't sleep all night, his eyes were bloodshot, and there was excrement in the corners of his eyes, which was completely dissatisfied with his previous image. What about the test product? Ryuichi heard his explanation and was also very interested in their experimental products. After all, he has personally produced 2 imaginary super cursed spirits. However, the production method is too troublesome. If the method of Yaya Okawa is easy to operate, then his next plan can continue to be promoted. When Yaya Okawa heard the boss's question, his expression froze with excitement. Oops. How can I forget this? The experimental product is still closed in the office, because I was so excited, I forgot it. What should I do now? Experimental. Forget it, you should report directly, after half an hour. Yaya Oga put the report back on the table, carefully looked at the opposite boss. Seeing him thinking on his face, there was no slightest dissatisfaction. I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The body relaxed involuntarily. Ryuichi listened to the report. Fingers can't help tapping the desktop. So far, it will take a long time to fully succeed. At present, I have only produced an ordinary small cursed spirit, which is far from producing those complete imaginary cursed spirits. There is still a long way to go. I see, if it's okay, you can go back and continue your research. After the report, he could not wait to leave here immediately. Yaya Oga hurriedly bowed and retired. Ryuichi stretched his waist and put the ancient mirror on the table. With a tap of your finger, the whole person dives into the mirror. It's better to be comfortable on vacation by yourself. At the same time, Tianyuan residence, advertisement. A figure flowed into the room along the window. Our Lord Tianyuan is resting? The voice was extremely old, and it sounded like an old man who was ready to go. Tian Yuan slowly opened his eyes and saw a figure sitting opposite. His eyes narrowed slightly, and then he relaxed. How did you come? The voice was flat and the tone was relaxed, and he seemed to be familiar with this figure. I came here if I wanted to, but your body doesn't look very good. And your taste has changed. How uncomfortable it is to sit on such a high stool. Cough. A soft sound. It turned out that the saber hit the frame of the chair. Tian Yuan didn't feel annoyed when he saw that it was so rude. Just wait for it to finish. Snapped. A finger was thrown on the table. Ryōmen Sukuna's finger. Why did you give this thing to me? Ryōmen Sukuna's fingers are super cursed objects, regardless of whether Sukuna needs to be resurrected. This thing is always good to wear on the body, after all, it can increase one's curse power. Haha, this thing is useless for me to hold it, so I might as well give it to you. Isn't it possible to take advantage of personal affection? The sunlight from the west shone into the room, and the figure was exposed in front of Tian Yuan. Wearing a black haori with 2 daggers sticking around his waist, he looks like a samurai, but he looks like a monk. Slicker, you give me personal affection every year, I'm afraid I won't be able to pay it back in the end. Tian Yuan looked at the slippery ghost on the opposite side, and did not move any fingers on the desktop. If you owe too much favor, you can't afford it. What's more, this thing can only be sealed in his hands. For him, there is no benefit. The slippery ghost smiled slightly, and the folds on his face wrinkled together. Haha, since you don't want, then I will be my favor and store this thing with you. Oh, Tian Yuan was curious about the slippery ghost's statement, and for the first time in so long, he said that he should pay back the favor. Can you tell me the reason? Hiss. Woo. A cloud of smoke was spit out, floating in the air, and it didn't subside for a long time. For no reason, I want to make a trip to the far door. This thing is always inconvenient to carry with me. Tian Yuan heard this and stopped saying more. Since he was unwilling to confide, he couldn't force it. In this case, then I will do it. Tian Yuan's fingers protruded, and the purple cursed spirit condensed on the fingertips, and his hands were sealed. Seal up. Advertisement. The power of the curse was turned into a string of straw ropes, following the outside of the fingers, wrapping it inside. Bang. Purple light shines brightly, all curse power dissipates. A spell with black letters on a yellow background fell on it. The environment can't feel a trace of curse power leaked out. Bang bang bang. A series of applause sounded. No matter how many you see, your seal technique is still so beautiful. Watching Tian Yuan's performance, the slippery ghost couldn't help applauding. The number of encounters between it and Tianyuan is unknown. Every time I come, I bring some weird things as souvenirs. Among them are some super cursed objects. Every time I watch Tian Yuan seal them, it's like watching another performance. The corner of Tian Yuan's mouth twitched upwards, with a helpless expression on his face. For some reason, this slippery ghost is different from all other cursed spirits. Although it hates humans, it never shows it. Feelings are not in form of emotions, talking without beginning and end, and also like to make friends everywhere. If it weren't for the cursed spirit identity, Tian Yuan would be more willing to believe that it was a community leader. Diaresis. Oh, by the way, did the former Ju Tun boy die with you? Tian Yuan was taken aback when he heard the words, didn't you kill it? The smile on the face of the slippery ghost gradually disappeared. The room was quiet again. Because Tian Yuan is still alive and possesses a sealing technique. Is the king of curses resurrected? Therefore, the slicker decided that Juden boy would not be able to go back alive this time to lead the army. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. If this kind of existence is resurrected, whether it is for humans or imaginary cursed spirit. The slippery ghost was silent on the surface, but the shock in his heart could not be added. I don't know, but I can guess it, then suppress the world's 1,000-year grave. Tian Yuan nodded. If I guess right, it should have provoked a guy who can't be offended. The slippery ghost looked up and saw a wry smile on Tian Yuan's face. After a long time. Li Wanghao, but from Tian Yuan's mouth, things seemed to be different from what he thought. That kind of fear and darkness depends on a name alone. It seems you know what's going on. Is it convenient to talk about it? It's all a huge disaster. This king of curses is not Ryōmen Sukuna, but an older existence. It's a human being, a human that no one can afford to offend. Tian Yuan saw its shocked expression, and knew that it was thinking a little bit off. Chapter 332. Advertisement. When the slippery ghost heard the words, a breathtaking light burst out of his two muddy eyes. Boom. A powerful momentum rushed towards Tian Yuan like a sea wave. Tian Yuan frowned slightly, and his right hand was frivolous, as if there was a wave of awe. He instantly broke this momentum. Too much. There was anger in his voice. No one would like this kind of guy who runs wild in his own territory. Call. The momentum dissipated, and the room returned to calm again. As if nothing happened. Introduce the human in detail. Slippery ghosts are interested in a big array, and I can't think that there are humans in this world that can reach this level. Except for that Ryōmen Sukuna, there are too few strong men born among human beings. However, once it appeared, it was crushing the entire era. Unexpectedly, another one appeared now. Maybe you can make friends. When Tian Yuan saw it smile, a trace of disdain appeared at the corner of his mouth. If you want to die, you can try to find him. Oh? Does he hate cursed spirits so much? No, he just hates trouble, and your presence means trouble. The slippery ghost frowned when he heard the words. This is a bit difficult. Oh? Need something? It was the first time he saw the slippery ghost. After all, he hadn't even been asked. It's okay. I recently felt a spell, reminding me of a terrific guy. It's just that we can't deal with it very much. We want to find someone to support the scene. The slick ghost chatted with half of the true and false. Where is that person? I'll meet him. Maybe it's okay. There is only one house of everything in Tokyo. Just ask if you go out. The house of everything. Okay, got it. Whoosh. The figure of the slick ghost disappeared in the room. Tian Yuan picked up the teacup and gently blew the heat on it. I hope I have another chance to see you. Bang. The fingers on the table disappeared, and the whole room was calm again. Time passed. A week later. The house of everything was full again. Wow. So fun. I must buy more delicious food next time. I didn't eat enough this time. It's been a long time since I was so relaxed. I just need to think about what to eat every day. This kind of day is really comfortable. I've been slack for 7 days. Starting next week, I must exercise hard. Do you want to be together? Advertisement. Can you? But our fighting styles are different. Everyone, please go back if you are okay. Ryuichi's voice directly silenced all the people present. But since the master has started to rush, they have no reason to stay. Well, Ryuichi, we will transfer the fee to you when we go back. Remember to check your phone. Bye-bye. When everyone had finished walking, Fuhishir came over from one side. Crackling. Beautifully applied for a lazy waist, wearing a sound like a beam collapse. Boss, do you have any tasks? I haven't moved much in the past few days, and my body is about to rust. Fushiguro Megumi also looked at Ryuichi by his side, with an indifferent expression, but the yearning in his eyes was still beyond words. In the mirror world, Fushiguro and Gojo Satoru had a good exchange on Fushiguro Megumi's education. They fight almost every day, and want to use this method to let Fushiguro Megumi understand how powerful he is. However, every day of the competition ended in a tie. Fuheshir can't touch Gojo Satoru with body art alone. And Gojo Satoru's jujutsu can't hurt Fuheshir. Although I couldn't get the two of them angry, Fushiguro Megumi looked at it with relish. It turns out that my teacher's father is so good. No, after I came out, I wanted to do missions with Fuheshir. Improve your actual combat experience. Take it for yourself. Fuheshir was about to take over, his eyes condensed. The corners of his mouth split, and the killing intent on his body seems to be true. No need. Get rid of the mice here first, base. Fu Hesher's figure immediately disappeared in place. Boom. There was an explosion immediately outside the window. For an instant, the empty street was instantly filled with smoke and dust, and I couldn't see what was inside. Ouch. Don't young people be so angry, you have to be considerate of the elderly. A relaxed and playful voice came from inside. The smoke dissipated and it was discovered that Vohecher's fist was being grasped by the cursed spirit in the image of an old man. Old man, since he says he is an old man, he should take a good rest at home. I'll see you off. Whoosh, a whip leg, directed at his lower body. The speed is so fast that there is even a little sound of breaking through the sky. Even if it is Gojo Satoru, putting such a leg at such a close distance, it will definitely not feel good. Base. The figure of the old man appeared in midair. Advertisement. The speed was so fast that Vohecher didn't even have time to react. Despair. The whole body stood on Fu Hesher's head. Young man, I'm not here to make trouble. You attack when you come up, isn't that good? The slippery ghost was also very helpless, and no one came to look for it a few times. It was not easy to find the person, and was attacked as soon as he appeared. If it is not a bit strong, it may simply disappear in the first punch. Tai. With a dazed effort, 2 hands appeared on his ankles. Hey, I caught you. With a violent force with both hands, he directly threw it to the ground. Boom. A pit was blasted directly from the ground. Huh. It's much more refreshing. Fu Hesher grabbed it by one leg and took it to the office. Boss, I'll take the child away first, let's talk. Ryuichi nodded, looking at the cursed spirit being thrown on the ground. There was a trace of interest in those narrow and bright eyes. Slicker, don't pretend, no you're okay. Bang bang bang. Oh, young people nowadays disrespect the old people too much, they're so heavy. The slippery ghost stood up and patted the non-existent dust on his body. Sitting seriously opposite Ryuichi, it's as if this storm-like pressure doesn't exist at all. An aura of horror poured out from Ryuichi. The slick ghost sitting opposite bears the brunt. This thing makes me easy to find, I don't know if you like it or not. And I came here with sincerity. The slippery ghost faced the pressure like a tide. You are the owner of all things house, Zenin Ryuichi? He took a box out of his arms and pushed it in front of Ryuichi. Why do you think I will help you? Boom, thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Ryuichi finds it interesting. This guy seems to be a little different from the slippery ghost he knows. Affirmed. A smile appeared on the face of the slippery ghost. I want you to do me a favor. Why should I help a cursed spirit? Oh, you don't have to test me like this, you don't actually have that much prejudice against cursed spirit, do you? Something to ask me? There was an unabated smile on his face. Chapter 333 Advertisement. Ryuichi didn't react at all when he saw the slippery ghost. Consciously boring, he took back his momentum, looked at the box in front of him with qualitatively. The Phnom Penh Jade Box, look at this box, and you know that the east, west inside is not simple. Opened box. Hoo-hoo-hoo. A wave of cold air radiated from the inside. The originally warm room suddenly dropped a few degrees. Several gray-white spheres floated slowly in the air. This is the soul medium. It took a long time to find this quality. Slick and smug, after all, it has the ability to find this kind of thing. When Ryuichi saw this, he remained silent, and the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. Do you like to drink? What wine? Call. 2 wineglasses rose slowly on the table. Snapped. A snapped finger, the dark red liquid gradually poured into the cup. The slicker looked at the wine glass in front of him with a puzzled look. Because there is obviously more liquid in its glass than Ryuichi's. What does it mean? Will it test its drinking capacity? Haha, although the old man is not a Jutan boy, but this lil wine still can't trouble me. The slipper raised the goblet and bowed to Ryuichi. After being signaled, he lost half a cup in one bite. Yep. The slick ghost opened his eyes wide, and the mighty soul power was beating in his mouth. The intense energy almost made it squirt out the contents of its mouth. Guru. Enduring the throbbing in his heart, he stared at the half glass of liquid left in his hands. There was a faint howling inside, and would there be a few illusory faces above the wine glass? Ling. Soul essence. The slippery ghost spit out these words with difficulty. I can only extract the soul medium now. This guy can actually make the original soul solution. Oh my god. How many people died in this glass of wine? The soul medium is to clean up all the emotions and memories inside after extracting the human soul, so that it can be absorbed by others. A thing that strengthens the soul. Advertisement. Slippery ghosts are born with a method of extracting human souls, so this kind of thing, if you don't pursue quality. There are still as many as you want, but the original soul fluid is different. Simply put, it is the soul medium in the liquid state. But this number cannot be estimated. Perhaps hundreds of people's souls can gather together to extract a drop. Although a lot of slick ghosts survived, they didn't dare to waste it like this. How many people died under this guy's hand? Soothed the excitement in my heart. The goblet in his hand became extremely heavy at this moment. The liquid in the wine shook back and forth, and the dark red dyed the originally transparent goblet red. Bang! Holding back his excitement, put the wineglass in his hand on the table. The triumphant expression turned into a wry smile. Unexpectedly, Mr. Ryuichi, so, for a while, this behavior made it not know how to describe it. It's like a local tyrant goes to someone else's home to show off his wealth, and the other person even wipes the tablecloth with gold wire. How can we talk about this? Hey, I was abrupt. This thing should be regarded as an apologize for disturbing you for so long. I will see you again when I find something better. After the slick ghost finished speaking, he was ready to get off the stool and leave. It's embarrassing to keep staying. This is the first time that Ryuichi has seen cursed spirit who knows the rules. Aren't you going to talk about what you were planning to let me help? If you come again next time and the value you bring is not enough, I still won't make a move. When the slippery ghost heard it, his expression was stunned. Yes, I didn't say anything. If the things I bring next time are still not enough, why don't you just lie down for nothing? Thinking of this, he immediately sat down, and diligently shifted his gaze away from the wine glass. It's like this. Recently I can always feel something spying on me. Oh, you are an imaginary super cursed spirit, who would dare to spy on you? When the slippery ghost heard these words, his face couldn't help being extremely hot. The flattery that was normal at first sounds so harsh now. Afraid that Zenin Ryuichi thought he was lying to him, he waved his hand quickly. No, it's not what you think. That feeling is very familiar to me. It's very special. It's a full-fledged LYB. It will use a similar ability to control time. When fighting back then, it often used a yin man. It's been so many years, I didn't expect him to stare at me again. Ryuichi sipped the red wine lightly, listening to his narration. The cursed spirit's abilities seemed familiar. Is it time to delete something briefly? Right. Because of this ability, we suffered a lot back then. Seeking Flowers' advertisement, it seemed to recall the situation back then, and the wrinkled face instantly twisted together. That's really not a beautiful memory. The slippery ghost as a heads-up king. The most unbearable is this weird jujutsu. For its cursed spirit, which is fighting in close quarters, its ability can be said to be a bug. Thinking of this, the slick ghost's eyes lit up. Ryuichi has seen that guy's methods, which means, the two of them played against each other. Single quote. Still have a chance. Thinking of this, I no longer keep it. That guy used to follow a guy named King of Curses, and after the birth of imaginary cursed spirits like us, he began various provocations. If it weren't for their boss who didn't know what was being sealed, we cursed spirit might have disappeared in the long river of history. After speaking, I still had a lingering fear, grabbing a glass of wine on one side and taking a sip. Puff, Guru. Almost forgot what was in this wine glass, and almost wasted these good things. In an instant, a refreshing meaning that belongs to the soul alone. It runs down the throat, flows all over the body, and finally concentrates on the brain. So comfortable. Just like eating a popsicle in the summer, it makes people want to stop. Then you can find its hiding place? Okay, I'll take this task. Very good, snapped. What conditions? As long as I can do it, I will do it too. It seems to be considering. A light blue stone appeared on the desktop. He saw the secret above thoroughly. Give me some time to find it, too. Then what's the point of you coming to me? As long as there is this thing, if there is a space crack nearby, it can record it. Can't find it. This guy is best at hiding, and now it may be living in a space of its own creation. The slippery ghost stood directly on the ground, with both hands twirling. Remove this stone and get me 4 more. The stone was reflected in Ryuichi's moon-white eyes. We can use it to find that guy's hiding place. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Don't rush to be happy, I still have conditions. The slippery ghost frowned, turning around severely yellow. Chapter 334 Advertisement. The slippery ghost wanted to agree directly. But this kind of stone is not common and it takes time to find it. Yes, you just need to grasp the time. The slipper picked up the wineglass and drank it all in one gulp. Turned around and left the house of everything. Ryuichi played with rocks and watched the slippery ghost leaving. The corners of the mouth lifted slightly. The light blue stone fiddled with him, looking like a beautiful butterfly, dancing gently in his hand. This thing is not actually a locator that the slick ghost said. It is an ore that can absorb specific spell power. Once the specific magic power appears, it will stick to it like a magnet. The characteristics of this ore are very much in line with Yaya Agawa's experiment. It is also very helpful for future plans. Bang. The stone fell on the tabletop. Since the last time I took a look, the feeling of being peeped has never appeared again. It may be scared. Ryuichi didn't think much anymore, and lay lazily on the chair. Enjoy the hard-won leisure time. Time is fast, time has come to June. Since the cursed spirit that can harm humans hasn't grown up yet, the Jujutsu teachers are basically fine. That destroyed city, with the help of many Jujutsu teachers. The infrastructure has been completed. Jujutsu teacher really is the first productive force. Gojo Satoru is idle and fine, often taking Shayuja to the house of everything to chat. If he has nothing to do, he will take Fushiguro Megumi out to exercise his spell power. In this case, Fuhesher could only gritted his teeth and stared at one side. Because of this matter, he has no way to replace it. Let him kill the Jujutsu teacher, but let him teach the Jujutsu teacher, it's a bit difficult. During this time, the relationship between Fushiguro Megumi and Gojo Satoru skyrocketed. Even a little bit faintly overwhelmed the momentum of Fuhesher. This made him very angry, but he was helpless. Slippery ghosts have also been here several times during this time. 2 stones were sent, not as big as the first time I saw them. But it is definitely 2 complete stones, it was not smashed from a whole piece. If it dares to fool like this, Ryuichi doesn't mind letting him experience what pain is in advance. On this day, Ryuichi is reading in the office, buzzing. A light blue light rose on the desktop. Advertisement. The stone kept colliding with the tabletop. Whoosh. The stone flew out the window in an instant, and Ryuichi's figure gradually disappeared into the office. Before that, in that strange space, Yushui sat cross-legged on the ground quietly. Recently, the old man has been able to explain in simple language. No communication with it. Although it was confused, it was not prepared to ask. Even if you ask about this kind of thing, people may not tell you the truth. He even hides himself deeper. This result is obviously not what he wants. Click. There is a hole in the broken space. The old man walked out from the inside, the terrifying curse power enveloping his body. Hoo-hoo-hoo. A hurricane poured out along the broken hole. Blowing Yushui's whole body was cold, and his body actually seemed to be frozen. One hand was slowly raised, and the space hole gradually recovered. The hurricane disappeared. The old man closed his eyes, and the curse power leaked from his body began to gather slowly. Finally disappeared. If you observe carefully, you will find that the curse power has condensed into a faint protective film. Meet tightly on its body surface, it's like a deep black shield. Sit down cross-legged and watch Yushui. Did Zenin Ryuichi do anything recently? I don't know, I haven't observed him since you closed the door. Yushui calmly looked at the old man in front of him. It's like talking about a common housework. The old man seemed to see the dissatisfaction in his heart. Haha, if you don't have it, you don't have to, after today, you don't have to be afraid of this human being. Yushui's eyes moved slightly and did not speak. It clearly knows that the best state at this time is to wait patiently for the elder to finish. Whether it is a human or a cursed spirit, as long as it is a wise creature, it will never escape the fault of being a good teacher. It is even more common in cursed spirit. My realm has become a big success. If this human being appears in my realm, he will undoubtedly die. When Yushui heard this, the original calm state revealed a trace of panic, but it was quickly covered up. It's best not to take it lightly. Although he is only a human being, he is a human being who killed 4 adults with his own hands. After saying this, the old man's joyful expression instantly froze on his face. Advertisement hoo-hoo-hoo. An invisible air current radiated from around his body. Yushui's order blocked the flow of airflow. The sarcoma violently moved up and down all over his body, and a layer of blue shield appeared on his body, floating peacefully on the upper layer of the skin. After this step was completed, Yushui took a sigh of relief. There was a trace of cruelty in the originally calm eyes. But it was hidden soon, after a long time. Click. The blue film on Yushui shattered. It could no longer withstand this curse power. It was blown into the air severely. It didn't stop until it hit the border. This is just a lesson, don't confuse me with those guys. My ability, but time. With the sound of the sound, a sphere with his radius unfolded instantly. Various clocks and watches float inside. It looks like a clock museum. Bang. The old man patted with both hands. Yushui's figure reappeared in front of it. Have you seen it? Here, as long as I want, time can flow according to my wishes. I'm only a short distance away from that goal, just so close. The curse power in the body seemed to be out of control, and the entire field began to vibrate. The demeanor gradually became crazy. The old man stared at Ryuichi, his face was completely obsessed, and he muttered, "It's just a little bit, Ryuichi is missing you." The old man said here, his right thumb and index finger were just together, making gestures. The figure of the old man and Yushui once again appeared in the mysterious space. The surrounding clocks began to shatter. Cracks gradually began to form on the black border. Yushui held his chest with his hands, squatted on the spot, took out a potion from his package and drank it. With this, I can even surpass Big Brother, become the true god in this world. As the field shattered, the old man's demeanor gradually recovered. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. With a wave of his arm, Zenin Ryuichi's picture appeared in the space. Click. The realm finally couldn't hold on, shattering into black pieces like a piece of glass. The world that evolved into a god queen seemed to emerge in his mind. The blue light of the body instantly flourishes and the wilting breath is slowly rising. In the end, nothing was said. Seeing Yu Shui, who was uncomfortable on the side, frowned. He stopped talking. Chapter 335 Advertisement Click. There was a gap in the space. Whoosh! When the blue light came in instantly. Go straight to the old man. The old man feels bad, and an invisible gas mask envelops it. The blue light instantly settled in the air. Looking intently, it turned out to be an oval stone. Who is it? The voice of anger sounded. The power of the horror curse poured towards the shattered space. Click. Click. The walls of the space finally couldn't support it. Like a mirror hit by a heavy object, it shattered. When Yu Shui saw this situation, a gleam of light flashed in his gloomy eyes. Is that guy finally coming? The body began to tremble involuntarily. Immediately, the hands were sealed, and the body turned into a little light spot, scattered in this space. At this moment, a faint voice floated slowly from the crack. It's you guy who keeps peeping on me. Ignoring the curse power, Ryuichi crossed the gap and walked in. Zenin Ryuichi. Why are you here? 23 The old man was very surprised by the appearance of Ryuichi. I started to observe in the last second, and the next second I was called by someone. This mood is no less than being caught by someone voyeuristically. A mouse has been disgusting you around your house. Would you care about it? Whoosh! Ryuichi's figure disappeared instantly. The old man hurriedly closed his eyes and felt Ryuichi's figure. As long as it can catch a trace, it will not fail. Are you looking for me? Ryuichi's voice appeared in its ears, and a pair of ruthless hands stretched out to its neck. The old man was not afraid at all, and even smiled at the corner of his mouth. No, go backward. Open. The hands quickly formed a seal, and a powerful curse erupted instantly. A black sphere instantly envelops the entire space. DDDD. The clocks around are walking slowly. The figure of the old man disappeared in front of Ryuichi at this moment. An afterimage appeared before his eyes. Haha. Zenin Ryuichi, I wanted you to live a few more days, but I didn't expect you to deliver it yourself today. The afterimage disappeared quickly, and a fist appeared in Ryuichi's abdomen. Bang! Advertisement boom. The collision of the two produced a huge air current. The clocks floating around quickly collapsed at this moment. Snapped. Keep putting his hand on the old man's fist. How is it? Have you played enough? The old man was shocked, and the light blue energy quickly enveloped his body. The whole person seemed to disappear at this moment. When he reappeared, he was already standing 10 meters away. I have to say, you do have the power to kill those guys, but that's it. Time is stagnant. The curse power on the old man's body was like sound waves, expanding layer by layer toward the surroundings. The whole field is covered in an instant. In an instant, the speed of the surrounding clocks gradually slowed down until they stopped. Ryuichi's figure also seems to have been affected, like a handsome sculpture, standing still. Haha, boy, in my domain, all time is under my control, I am the omnipotent god. You can be swallowed by me with peace of mind and become a part of me. Finally, remember my name, my life Shitai. Shikai walked slowly to Ryuichi's side and punched him in the throat. Here is one of the weaknesses of mankind, as long as it is crushed. No one can survive. Sudden, Denden. The hands on Ryuichi's side trembled twice. Base. A flashback. The figure of the old man instantly returned to the original place. He looked at Ryuichi suspiciously. Wasn't it dazzled just now? Did this kid move? Thinking of this, Shihai's muddy eyes passed a trace of caution. Boy, just fight if you have the ability, don't pretend to be fools. I wanted to play, but since I said that, then forget it. A light blue light shined through Ryuichi's moon-white eyes. Under Shihai's incredible gaze, Ryuichi began to swing his body. From inconvenience to bounce, you won't be able to do just that, are you? Ryuichi looked at Shikai's surprised expression, a little disappointed in his eyes. I thought this guy would be a cursed spirit who controls time. At present, it is not as powerful as imagined. The so-called time stagnation is nothing more than modulating one's own speed the fastest, moving at a speed close to the speed of light. This will make other things look as slow as still. It can be said that this world has played new tricks with those theoretical knowledge. Advertisement in Ryuichi now has kept up with Toki's speed. At this moment, the wrinkles on Shihai's face were deeper. If you think about the success in the field, you can be invincible. Unexpectedly, I was careless. Bang! The realm receded in an instant, and the scattered clocks disappeared. Call. Shihai let out a sigh of relief. Maintaining such a field is also a lot of pressure for it. Since the domain has no effect, it is better to spread out and reduce consumption. Boy, I didn't expect you to be amazing. Although Shihai had a relaxed tone, only he knew the pressure. Time stop and timeline deletion are jujutsu on which it depends. But these two jujutsu didn't seem to have any effect on the guy in front of him. On the contrary, it will increase the chance of injury. Base. Ryuichi's figure disappeared again, and this time he was not given a chance to reflect. Reached out and leaned toward its neck. Click. Shihai's neck broke at the sound, but even so, it still disappeared in place by instinct. Instantly appeared 10 meters away. Ryuichi looked at its embarrassed look, and there was a trace of boredom in his bright eyes. I thought it would be a ruthless character, but I didn't expect it to be like this. Don't struggle, and be enslaved by me. Garbage is garbage, but this kind of jujutsu about time is still worthy of research. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Turned into countless chains, surrounding its limbs and neck. Although Shi-Hai was not in serious trouble, the curse power in his body was consumed too much, and he could not make space leap. The hands stick out and turn into paw prints. Zhu Ling dispatches General. Don't struggle anymore. Instead of being a servant of mankind, it's better to be a part of my body. Shi-Hai seemed to know what it wanted to do, and shouted in surprise. No, if you do this, your eldest brother will wake up and you will be finished. Haha, that is a constraint on you. I have never heard this sentence from beginning to end. On the verge of success, a darkness appeared above Shi-Hai's body, and a terrifying curse slowly came out of it. Quickly let go of me, no food of the same kind. He wanted Yu Shui to take it with him, but it seemed that the direction of the matter was a little different from what he had imagined. In a while, I will avenge you. Shi-Hai stood up at this time, stroked his chest with his right hand, and said with a lingering fear. Let's go quickly. Only the big brother can kill this guy. We can only be cannon fodder here. Tear. A blue light flashed, and Zhu Ling's chain was instantly destroyed. Shi-Hai was torn in half as soon as he exerted his arms. Yu Shui grabbed Shi-Hai's two arms in an instant. Chapter 336. Advertisement at the moment before consciousness dissipated, Shi-Hai's last-minute memories. It is Yu Shui's terrifying mouth. Yu Shui grabbed the two halves of Shi-Hai's body. Tuck it into your mouth bit by bit. Click, click. The sound of chewing sounded into space. There was a bit of enjoyment on his face, as if he had just had a wonderful dinner. After pressing me for so long, it's time to give it back to me. The two blue colors on it echo each other, as if it is one in itself. At the moment it is just fusion again. The appearance of this force made Ryuichi frown. He actually felt a little pressure at the moment. I haven't felt this way for a long time since the battle with death. The same situation seems to have appeared in the Yu Shui in front of me. Boom. The two energies interacted on it. A powerful curse power emerged from it Peng-yang. The powerful energy did not bring any discomfort to Ryuichi. Instead, he felt that this foolish school should be like this. It seems to be completed. Human beings are seeking truth in desperation, and knowledge is the only shortcut to truth. The biggest enemy in the path is time. Knowledge is short-lived and correct, and truth is eternal knowledge. Yep. Ryuichi's eyes suddenly shrank. The horrible perception of the body that was almost predictable told him. The folly in front of him gradually disappeared in this space. Do not disappear. It is to merge with this space. It's as if it was originally the owner of this space. This kind of feeling was once felt in Jingui. Yu Shui was sitting on the void at this moment, and the sarcomas on his body had completely disappeared at this moment. The whole body looks closer to humans, but there are a few more wrinkles on the face. It looked like it was 30 years old. Haha, unexpectedly, it is really possible. It turns out that the improvement of cursed spirit can be so easy. Yu Shui's voice is also closer to middle-aged and elderly people. He felt the energy in his body and looked down at his current body. Ha ha ha, Zenin Ryuichi, thank you. If it weren't for you, I would have nothing to do with this old guy. After all, he seemed to be adapting to his body. Advertisement. Scepter. The voice fell. A spell appeared in his hand, and a golden scepter appeared in his hand. Yu Shui nodded in satisfaction. Look at this Ryuichi with great interest. Human, do you have anything to say? While I am happy now, please beg me, I may be able to let you go. Ryuichi frowned, a suspicion flashed in her bright eyes. I haven't seen the cursed spirit eclipse, but I have only seen your almost deified situation twice. Anything in it? Unexpectedly, this human being would issue such a problem. However, Yu Shui did not refuse to answer. I don't know about other cursed spirits. I only know that I can go to this point naturally through endless time. Shitai just accelerated this process. This sentence made Ryuichi frown and thought of the original, death. In other words, your essence is truth, but time has not come. Yes, you are very smart and powerful. Presumably when the two adults died, they violated the rules set by their eldest brother. Yu Shui nodded appreciatively. With the palm of his hand, the original scepter instantly dissipated. Cursed spirit who violates that guy's rules will generally not end well, so after I get rid of you, I will also let it never appear in the world. Whoosh! A white light flashed, and 2 days a knife lay quietly in Ryuichi's hands. Under that calm blade, there are indeed countless cursed spirits. At this moment, it is as if man and knife are one. The whole person's momentum is condensed to the peak. It seems that he is the real master of this space. No nonsense. 2 days a knife homeopathic chopped. In an instant, a sword gas burst out of the air like a waning moon. Under the sword aura, the space was shattered, and even the surrounding void was unwilling to be contaminated with its power at this moment. Click, click. The sound of broken space is endless. I arrived in front of Yu Shui in the blink of an eye. Sword spirit, erase. The 4 words are like the truth of heaven, blending into this space. Suddenly, as if there was a ruthless big hand, instantly crushing the sword energy. The previously broken space is also filled in this one. Everything seems to have never appeared before. Ryuichi's eyes are full of solemnity. He hadn't encountered an enemy who could make him value so much in a long time. Because, in his perception, advertisement the moment Yu Shui spoke, the rules in this space change. Here, there will be no more sword spirit, even if it cuts again, it won't be as powerful as just now. Seeing Ryuichi's solemn look, Yu Shui showed a teasing smile on his face. Feel it, this space has been taken over by me. After I go out, that vast world will also become my territory, at that time. Diaresis the world will crawl under my feet and ask for my forgiveness. I am the omnipotent God. What I say is King's life, what I say is the truth. Looking at the foolish learning that is looking forward to the future. Ryuichi frowned, making a seal with one hand. The hexagram is in the eye. The curse power in his body quickly gathered in his eyes. Not long after, infinite curse power gathered in the eyes that were as bright as the moon. A gossip picture composed of light blue lines appeared in his eyes. Yu Shui's figure was reflected in the gossip picture, and it was not long before it was clearly seen by these eyes. The light blue light in his eyes faded, and the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. At this moment, Yu Shui is dissolving with the surrounding space, so it is like a mirror ghost at that time. So you can use some of the rules of this space, but there is a limitation here. That is, it cannot be used according to the rule of the Lord. Like death, although Yada is dead, this part of the power still cannot be used by it. So, Li Wangjiao can only offset Ryuichi's offense by modifying the rules of no owner. Thinking of this, Ryuichi's eyes lit up, that if the rules here are controlled by him, so how? Yu Shui looked at Ryuichi's self-confidence and couldn't help feeling tight. Reminiscent of the feeling of being seen through just now. Could it be? It's him? Impossible. I am invincible now? It's impossible for someone to kill me. Yu Shui shook his head, the original calm eyes were full of killing intent. You don't have to bluff there, I will be invincible, and you can only be a stumbling block on my road to invincibility. Shake. Space freezes. Ryuichi seemed to be in a piece of glue at the moment, and the space around him gradually solidified. The whole person was forcibly trapped in place, unable to move. Haha. Is it much stronger than Shihai's restraint? Farewell. Zenin Ryuichi, Chapter 337 Advertisement. Base. Blu-ray on the ground is booming. A hanging plate was issued from under Ryuichi's feet, filling the entire space in an instant. Bang. A loose body. Ryuichi lifted his steps and made a lap in place. It seems that Feng Hu Chi Men's priority is higher than Yu Shui's control. No, impossible. How can you move? How can you disobey my request? Everything in front of me is beyond Yu Shui's understanding. The knowledge stored in the past is like waste paper at this moment, meaningless. She can only become angry and stretch her hands forward. Space collapses. Click. As the sound fell, the space behind Ryuichi began to collapse. The terrifying turbulence raged in the space. All things touched or turned into nothingness. It's just that a pair of slender hands swept behind him. Wow. A blue light flashed, and the shattered space was like the surface of water. After the ripples, it was restored as before. After doing all this, Ryuichi lifted her head slightly and looked at Yu Shui with her narrow eyes. How about it, do you want to try something else? This sentence seemed to ignite Yu Shui's explosive barrel. This is all you forced me. I am cursed spirit, unless human beings are removed, I will not die. And you, just a human. The terrifying curse power gathered in his chest, and a trace of fierceness appeared in his eyes. Space. Annihilation. Click. Click. The whole space is cracked at this moment, and it keeps getting bigger with the passage of time. In just a moment, the entire space was turned into fragments. Hoo. In the next second, the fragments began to annihilate upwards. There is no life, not death, as if this space itself shouldn't exist. At this moment, it was just restored to its original state. Annihilation? Then you have to ask me if I agree? Lightly underfoot, the huge formation spins frantically. The gossip represents everything in the world, and everything can be found in it. And gossip itself is a collection of time and space. At this moment, countless blue energy emerged from the array, filling the entire space. The energy of annihilation is slowly slowing down until it stops. All this happened so quickly that Yu Shui couldn't react for a while. It looked at the restored space with unabated anger in its eyes. However, this is obviously not a good opportunity for revenge. It has been able to live until now, and successfully swallowed Shihai, because it will judge the situation. Advertisement record the situation in front of you and come up with the optimal solution in your mind. This has become its instinct. At this moment, its instinct has been saying, get out of here first, go to the real world, get acquainted with the power, and revenge later. The eyes flickered with anger, but it still chose to believe in instinct. The right hand is frivolous. Tear. The space was opened with a hole. Want to go? You haven't asked me yet. A sound came into its ears, and the opening that was drawn was occupied by blue energy at this moment. Repaired in an instant. How can it be? This guy has such a powerful control ability. Yushui looked at everything in front of him in horror, even if he didn't want to believe it. Zenin Ryuichi is more like a god who controls the world. Ryuichi looked at Yushui condescendingly, a joke in those bright eyes. No. No way. I have finally survived until now, and have evolved into a god. It is impossible to die at this step. There must be a way. There must be a way. For the desperation of the current game, Yushui has begun to go crazy. The color on his body changed to red again. From a distance, it looked like a cooked lobster. Right. There is this trick. Curse power, erased. The sound fell, and the curse power in the space disappeared. The curse power accumulated around the two disappeared instantly at this moment. Haha. Zenin Ryuichi, without the curse power, what are you going to fight with me? The space without curse power makes Yushui very excited, because it can continue to use the rules. Air, wipe. The second sentence has not yet fallen. Huh. A white shadow flashed. Ryuichi stood behind it with a sword in his hand. An arm fell from the sky. Oh, my hand, what did you guy do? Restore. UTM restore for me. Yushui clutched his arm in pain, trying hard to restore his broken arm. But 2 days a knife to cut the origin. This scar will not heal anyway. Wow. With a loose finger, he disappeared into the air with a knife in 2 days. Ryuichi raised his leg and walked towards Yushui. Ta-da-da. The sound of approaching footsteps is like a countdown to life. At this moment, Yushui really felt the coming of death. Advertisement, stop. I order you to stop. The words spoken instantly merged into the space, but they didn't seem to alleviate the situation in front of them at all. Didn't even make a pause, don't you understand? Ryuichi looked at Yushui calmly, as if looking at a stranger who had nothing to do with him. This look hurt his heart again. The ground blue light flourished. Wrap the two figures inside. When Yushui opened his eyes again, he found that he was taken to another space. Field. In front of me. Time, space, fate, 9 houses, everything does not exist. I am the master, I am the only one. As soon as Ryuichi lifted his foot, the array turned, and the originally pitch-black environment was instantly illuminated by a bit of starlight. This is the universe. Yushui wanted to continue talking, but found that his throat seemed to be stuck in a mouthful of sputum. I can't tell how. This is. Yushui twisted his body desperately, but couldn't even move a finger. Is this time manipulation? It was taken aback by his own thoughts. He could actually control this level of power by virtue of his human identity. The previous one speeds up so that it breaks through the stagnation of time. There is still room for repair. This method is not new, and even a lot of cursed spirit can do it. This moment. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The power of Zhu Ling quickly suppressed the consciousness of this god. No, the number is too large, we must find a place to retreat. Bang. The blue light dissipated, and truth was completely reduced to a puppet in Ryuichi's hands. Ryuichi came to it and raised his hand. A strong blue light broke out on the odd disc, which tightly wrapped Yushui. If you lose, you won't be wronged or complained. A little mysterious air appeared on Ryuichi's body. Yushui closed his eyes and prepared to welcome death. Complete the ceremony just now, countless understandings of truth flooded his mind. It knows how ridiculous its behavior is. In an instant, with the success of Zhu Ling towards the truth. There is no space to break, no black magic power. Zhu Ling dispatches general. A series of obscure incantations slowly appeared on it. I have been calculating such an existence, chapter 338. Advertisement. Ryuichi cut through the space directly. The whole person appeared at the door of the house of everything in an instant. Boss. What's wrong with you? The mysterious aura in Ryuichi's body grew more and more, almost reaching the point of substance. It's okay, remember, if someone comes to me, they say I'm in retreat and no one sees. During my retreat, let the guy Fuhesher take the position of the boss temporarily. Without waiting for Nanami Kento to reply, he quickly entered the room. Nanami Kento saw the boss look like this. Although he was a little worried, he didn't have the ability to help. I can only call and tell Fuhesher about this matter and Gojo Satoru. At the same time, Ryuichi returned to the room. The defensive barrier opens instantly, as long as the curse power level does not exceed him. This enchantment will not be destroyed. After letting go, sit cross-legged. The whole person is floating in the air. That kind of truth sentiment bloomed in his heart instantly. Although 2 days of a knife hurt the origin of Yushui. The rules of truth are somewhat missing, but its understanding of the truth is inherited without reservation. Coupled with the silence of time, this amount of knowledge cannot be grasped casually. The obscure mantra diploma appeared, surrounding Ryuichi. It is as if a true god is comprehending the world, and those spells are the guardian of the true god. Prevent all suspicious creatures from harming their owners. Boom boom boom. The huge curse power kept pouring out, hitting the surrounding enchantment. If the enchantment is not laid out in advance, this force is likely to destroy the entire street. The other side. Fuhesher and Gojo Satoru came to the House of Everything at the same time. Standing in front of Ryuichi's office, they didn't have time to fight at the moment. Mainly discuss the current situation of Ryuichi. At this moment, the two were looking at Nanami Kento with serious faces. Are you sure the boss was not in good physical condition when he came back? Where is that guy Ryuichi recently? Nanami Kento pushed his glasses and said calmly, yes, when the boss came back, there was a powerful curse on the surface of his body. And let me convey those words. Fuhesher frowned. Reached out and touched the doorknob. Click, the lock sounded. It seems that the boss really has something to retreat and practice. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru touched his chin, and the office door was reflected in the blue eyes of the sky. Bang. Boom. Gojo Satoru's figure disappeared instantly. A hole appeared on the opposite wall. Whoosh, Gojo Satoru appeared again. Looking at the office door, his eyes are dull and his mouth is slightly open. There was a huge wave in my heart, the moment he opened his 6 eyes to probe. An obscure spell appeared in his eyes, just a glance. The massive amount of information was transmitted to his brain in an instant, as if he was attacked by his own boundless space. It's just that the infinite amount of empty input is invalid information, and this is indeed a huge amount of valid information. In order to leave this message as quickly as possible, he can only use Jujutsu to instantly get himself out of place. Otherwise, it is possible to stand here for a few years. Fuhesher looked at Gojo Satoru's expression with a look of contempt on his face. But now is obviously not the time to ridicule. How? What did you see? The boss, is he okay? 3 questions were thrown out directly. Gojo Satoru then reacted from the shock, swallowed his saliva, and pushed his sunglasses. I didn't see anything, just a message came into my eyes, and I almost couldn't get back to it. What? What does Fuhesher's way of nature mean? How long will the boss be able to wake up? I don't know, maybe a year, maybe 10 years, but... Gojo Satoru glanced at the scenery outside the window. It's just that when he wakes up, his strength will be even more terrifying than it is now. Wrong. I am his opponent. He has been getting stronger, how can I stand still as an opponent? Thinking of this, the eyes that had been absent-minded once again focused. A confident smile floated on that handsome face again. Call. Take a breath, as if to get rid of all the complicated thoughts just now. A happy smile appeared on that handsome face again. Don't worry, he is in very good condition now, but the time to wake up is uncertain. He has already set up an enchantment inside, and we will also set up one outside to ensure his safety. The rest is to protect the current status of the House of Everything. All 3 of us knew that the supernatural status of the House of All Things is all because of Zenin Ryuichi. Once discovered, Zenin Ryuichi was in retreat and had no time to look outside. Seeking Flowers' advertisement, it is very likely to be attacked by those who have the intention to jointly attack the House of All Things. Even take away the transcendent status of the House of Everything. Although Fuhesher could assassinate those people, he could not influence the decisions of others. If Ryuichi wakes up at this time, the consequences will be unimaginable. At this moment, the 3 looked at each other, seeing the determination in the eyes of the other party. The invisible pressure unfolded at this moment and instantly filled the entire corridor. Rumble. The previously destroyed wall collapsed instantly. Woke up the 3 serious people. When I graduate, I'll come to work in the House of Everything. Go first, bye-bye. Whoosh. Gojo Satoru's figure disappeared before his eyes. It seems that I can't wait to improve my strength. Fuhesher looked at the collapsed wall, his face covered with black lines. Next time I see this blind man, let him allocate the money for repairing the wall. The more he talked, the more angry he got, and he cursed and went back to the house to call and repair the wall. Nanami Kento looked at the collapsed wall, thinking back to the boss's explanation to him. There was a warm current in my heart. This is moved by being needed. After coming to the House of Everything for so long, he did his best to complete the work. It hardly helped the House of Everything. All positions are the boss's alone. He made himself feel very useless here, but today is different, he finally feels needed. I will definitely protect the House of Everything. After that, he returned to his workstation and continued to work. Time came to August in a blink of an eye. 2 months later, almost no one found that Ryuichi was missing. After all, we all know that Zenin Ryuichi hates trouble and often doesn't take it with him in the House of Everything. It even said that Zenin Ryuichi did not show up recently, which made these Jujutsu teachers breathe a sigh of relief. I'm afraid that someone accidentally offends this evil star. On this day, Jujutsu College Library. Sha Yuja, what kind of woman do you like? Sha Yuja was stunned when he heard the sound, but he didn't expect to meet another super Jujutsu teacher here. Hello. 99 Yuki, what can I do for you? Cut. Boring guy, it's not all right recently, come see you and Gojo Satoru. Sha Yuja glanced at this tall beauty, then ignored her and looked at the book in her hand. You look very normal and more, it doesn't look like you are mentally ill, too. Chapter 339 Advertisement. The plain words really made Sha Yuja stunned and looked up at 99 UG. Who told you? In order to improve his strength, he did a lot of things he didn't agree with. Coupled with the constant elimination of cursed spirit, there was indeed a big mental problem some time ago. Unwarranted disappointments, hatred, and anger are countless. If it hadn't been for the recent cursed spirit activity has been greatly reduced. It can give him time to breathe, and it may really fall apart. Hearing this, 99 Yuji sat beside him generously, looking at the opposite wall. It's your younger brother Wei Yuan. He thought you were in a bad state some time ago, and he didn't dare to look for you, so he asked me to come and see you. That guy? Hearing the name, Sha Yuja smiled faintly. Wei Yuan is one of his younger brothers, and at the same time a little fan of his brother. Every time I go out to do any work, I will bring back some local specialties. The relationship with him and Gojo Satoru is very good. Yeah, he also looked for Gojo Satoru, but recently Gojo Satoru didn't know where he was going, so he found me here. Spreading his arms, 99 Yuki leaned against the chair. The breeze blew her, blowing a few strands of her hair, which looked so charming. Seeing this scene, Sha Yuja also leaned on the chair, eyes slightly closed, and asked casually. What a wonderful time, but unfortunately, there may only be so many months in a lifetime. Not necessarily, as long as the cursed spirit hasn't appeared yet, just kill those little cursed spirits directly. The voice was relaxed, but Sha Yuja did not laugh. Although it is true, it is difficult to do. The negative emotions that humans produce every day are unknown. Even though they are very relaxed now, after half a year, they will definitely return to their previous life. It's difficult. This efficiency is too slow. Hearing this, 99 UG tilted his head and looked at Sha Yuja. Yes, the philosophy of the college is to kill one by one. This is too slow and inefficient. But there are actually other ways. If there is no leakage of curse power in this world, then the problem will be solved. Sha Yuja smiled softly. Is there any difference between this and not saying? As long as there are humans in this world, the leaked curse power will not disappear. Having said this, Sha Yuji thought of a certain possibility and subconsciously said, then if there are no ordinary people in the world, isn't it all right? The goose bumps on his body instantly rose up as soon as the words were spoken. How can I say such a thing? A feeling of guilt couldn't help rising from the bottom of my heart. Advertisement at present, he has only killed the damned person. For other humans, he still maintains the belief in protection. This sentence is equivalent to directly pushing yourself to the opposite of humanity. Yes, it is theoretically feasible. This can put pressure on ordinary people and force them to evolve. The method is very good, but unfortunately, I am not that crazy. Upon hearing this, Sha Yuja lowered his head in thought. The two were silent. Well, since you are okay, then I won't stay much longer. I will tell your younger brother later. I will leave first, bye-bye. After that, 99 Yuki left the library with his forehead helmet and long legs. Leaving Sha Yuja alone, looking at his hands, the look in his eyes changed. Finally turned into a sigh. The time has come to September. The cursed spirit incident began to appear again in various places in Fusang. The Jujutsu teachers started their work. Tokyo, Jujutsu High School classroom. Shayu, this mission is to a village Kaladi Black Square, and there are suspected traces of the activities of the second-level cursed spirit. The guy Gojo Satoru doesn't know where he's going, so you can go on this mission alone. The information is on the table. You can find out first. Wow, a folder was pushed in front of Sha Yuja. He calmly flipped through the information. It shows the mission address, village photos and supernatural descriptions. Finally, follow the window to rate the local post-exploration tasks. Looking at it as a whole, the highest level is only the second level. No problem, after I leave, I will go. Without refusal, this kind of task was a piece of cake for Sha Yuja. Just unexpectedly, cursed spirit was born again. Human negative emotions are really endless. Well, since you agreed, I'm relieved. I have something to do now, so I will leave first. After speaking, Yaga Masamichi left the classroom. Sha Yuja stared at the information in his hand and smiled helplessly. He also got up and left, after a long time, at the entrance of Fengshen village. Advertisement. Sha Yuja looked at the village, with a sense of depression in her heart. This feeling is really uncomfortable. Let's solve the problem quickly and leave. Raised his leg and walked into the village. A fat villager came to greet him. You are the master to deal with supernatural events, right? I am the receptionist in the village, and I will take care of you. After all, this person looked up and down at Sha Yuja. Sure enough, a young hero. Come, go to the village with me to eat something first. Don't worry about the spirits. He was not in a hurry, but the frequently rubbing hands betrayed his thoughts. No, take the time to deal with it. I have other things to do. The environment here is too depressing, and the person in front of them seems to be covered with a faint black air. If you stay with him for too long, Sha Yuja can't guarantee that he will do bad things. Good. The master is really a master, just for the masses. With that said, he took Sha Yuja to the outside of a house. It's here. This house has been vacant for more than 10 years. Recently, there have been frequent women's shouts. This was not a major event at first, but recently people have disappeared. These people have entered this house without exception before they disappeared. We really couldn't help it, so we reported this matter. The two stood 10 meters away from the room, and no matter what they said, the man did not dare to move forward. It was pitch black inside, and no ray of light could be seen in the sealed room. Smell it carefully, but also mixed with this bloody and rancid smell. Behind him came the trembling cheering sound of the man. Come with me, come with me. Sha Yuja stepped forward and walked forward. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Bang! Quack quack! A faint musty smell floated in the air. The cursed spirit, which disappeared at the 3rd and 4th levels, has not broken through the restrictions of the ground bond. Squeak! Upon seeing this, Sha Yuja stopped to say more. This house looks like a very ordinary rural wooden house. Okay, I understand. The situation is roughly the same as the data above, judging from the current performance. Big. Master, come on. The windows are sealed on all sides, and there should be no sunlight all year round. When you enter the house, the door closes automatically. Chapter 340 Advertisement. Click. Click. The sound of a hard object scratching the ground gradually came. A humanoid cursed spirit crawled out of the shadows. It was full of pustules, its teeth were black and yellow, and its entire upper body was covered with scarlet blood. It was discovered after crawling out that it did not have a lower body. The movement of the body is relying on the thick arms. Looking up, he found a human being observing it with his head tilted. It turned out to be just a level 4 cursed spirit. Forget it, it's time to relax. After observation, it was discovered that this cursed spirit could not even count as level 3. I don't know how the people at the window evaluated it. Come with me, come with me, come with me. Seems to feel Sha Yuja's disdain. The cursed spirit was instantly angry and crawled towards him with a roar. Hume. His arms collided frequently on the ground, and after a while he climbed to Sha Yuja's side. What? Opening his big mouth, he bit towards Sha Yuja's leg. Bang! There was a loud noise, and the cursed spirit flew in response. It directly hit the wall behind and shook violently. 23. I won't waste your time. Sha Yuja made the seal with one hand, and the surging curse power quickly gathered in both hands. Boom! A cursed spirit shaped like a praying mantis descended from the sky. Quack! Quack! After falling, he looked around as if he was free again. Do you still rub your head with those two sickle-shaped hands? Kill it. Whoosh! The praying mantis disappeared in place. With a stroke of both hands, the cursed spirit on the wall disappeared directly. Seeing the scattered curse power, Sha Yuji's eyes felt sick. He didn't want to continue his life so early, that's too painful. At this moment, many villagers have arrived after hearing the news. Squeak. The door opened. The villagers stepped back subconsciously. After seeing Sha Yuja who came out, he smiled and greeted him. My lord, did you succeed? The previous man stepped forward slowly, with a happy smile on his panicked face. It looks so weird. Advertisement. He put his hands on his side and kneaded the corners of his clothes, as if expectant and suspicious. Okay, it's all right. Great, thank you so much. Don't worry, everyone, this room has been leveled by this adult. The man got the answer, turned around immediately, and reported the good news to the villagers behind him. Really? Really? Our village is really safe now? Great. My neighbor died in this house, so scared to sleep every day, it's so uncomfortable. It's okay, and it's okay. You don't need to rent a house in the city now, it's great. I do not believe. At this time, an aunt who was over 60 years old came out. You can't say it's okay if it's okay, we need to test it. Wow. As soon as the voice fell, the surrounding villagers immediately stepped back. Just vacate the place where she was standing. I was afraid that I would be dragged in by her to do the experiment. Old lady, your grandson is dead, don't you want to hold us back? That's right. Your grandson does not listen to persuasion, and insists on entering. That is what he deserves. You will be condemned by God if you pull others back like this. If you want to go by yourself, we still want to live a few more years. The bad words of the people around did not make her back. Instead, he stared at Sha Yuja, waiting for his reply. Seeing this, Sha Yuji frowned. But cursed spirit has been divided, even if someone enters it, there is no problem. Yes, you will find people, and I can stay on the sidelines. Bang bang bang. The words fell, and the villagers who were still onlookers scattered and fled in an instant. I am afraid it will be implicated. The auntie looked at the back of the group of people with disdain in her eyes. A group of courageous waste. Go and catch those 2 dead stars. Let them find the way. If they are still alive, fortune telling them. The man who led the way looked at Sha Yuja with a look of embarrassment, and finally compromised in the eyes of the ant. For some reason, Sha Yuja felt irritated. I always feel that something bad will happen. The 3 of them came to another room. From the outside, it was slightly better than the one where cursed spirit appeared. But the good is limited, and the sense of age is coming. Squeak. Don't beat us, we dare not. Woohoo. It's not our fault. Why, don't beat us. Two immature voices came into Sha Yuja's ears. When he walked in, the picture in front of him made him stand still. Two petite and lovely girls were locked up in a wooden prison. Judging from the scars and demeanor, he should have suffered inhuman torture before. What is this? Advertisement. Upon hearing the question, the man's original flattering expression turned into confusion. What? These two people are the main reason for this incident. Their two heads are abnormal, and several villagers have been injured. My grandson was almost killed by them. Keep them here without killing them, it's good enough for them. Auntie's voice interspersed at this time, as if she wanted to confide all the suffering she had suffered. The whole face was very hideous, and all the words he said were squeezed out between the teeth. No, the cause of the matter has been cleared by me. Sha Yuja's expression was calm, and there was no happiness or anger. A faint curse power floated on his body. Yep. This power. See the curse power floating on Sha Yuja's body. The two little girls seemed to see hope. Climbing to the edge of the cage, tremblingly pointed at the ant. That's because of him. Shut up, you monster. It's the same as your parents. I knew I should kill you when it should be. ZZZ. The dark curse power turned into a teeny on Sha Yuja's fingers. No. Don't be afraid. For a moment, the two little girls stopped talking and hugged each other. It seems that this is the only way to bring some temperature to yourself in this cold world. Sha Yuja could not see the slightest expression on his face, but there was a stormy sea in his heart. Obviously it is the cursed spirit created by ordinary people's curse power leaked. Master Jujutsu tried hard to protect ordinary people. As a result, Master Jujutsu who did not grow up was persecuted by these ignorant ordinary people. Now, who is the one who needs protection? If it were that man, what would he do? Thinking of this, Zenin Ryuichi appeared in Sha Yuja's mind. If it were him, he wouldn't think so much. When Sha Yuja raised his head again, there was a gentle smile on his face. Everyone, go outside first. No, I need them. Well, my lord, let's go out first, let's go out first. Feeling the terrifying pressure on Sha Yuja, the man chose to quickly leave this place of right and wrong. By the way, the ant who still wanted to be entangled was pulled away by the way. Bang! The wooden fence broke at the sound. Come out, in the future, Master Jujutsu, I will be guarded by Sha Yuja. In Sha Yuja's bright eyes reflected the poor figures of two little girls. I really hate monkeys. This is the truth. Chapter 341. Advertisement. Sha Yuja left the house with two children. The previous villagers appeared at the door again. Looking at the three people who came out, their eyes were full of anger. They can't come out, they will ruin the village. For the sake of the village, they must be killed, immediately, immediately. Protect the village. Kill these two demons. These people are holding rakes or hoes and holding their heads high, as if they are about to move forward. But no one really dared to step forward, a bunch of trash. Ant's voice came again. Although the villagers were angry, no one answered. Slowly, the ant will be vacated again. My lord, what do you mean? While speaking, her eyes looked behind Sha Yuji. The two little girls were scared by her eyes and backed away. Bang! A pair of warm hands appeared behind them. Don't be afraid. You two blindfold your eyes and don't let go no matter what you hear for a while. Yes. The gentle voice filled the two little girls with warmth. Blindfolded hands, no longer paying attention to anything. Seeing that their eyes were closed, there was no mercy in their hearts. Hume. The surrounding villagers were startled by Sha Yuja's eyes. At that moment, it seemed as if death's sickle had been placed on their necks. The shadow of death hung over them. You, what are you doing? Do you want to kill? Don't forget your identity. Master, there must be a misunderstanding between us. These two monsters must slander us, don't listen to them. He was unmoved by these threats and explanations. I have been constrained by my own righteousness for so long. It's time to show who you really are, Russell. I don't know when the wind has blown around, and the lois and leaves are flying in the sky. The villagers looked at all of this with dull faces. Because Sha Yuja actually took off out of thin air. He's also a monster. No wonder they want to kill us, they're the same kind. Run away. Monsters are coming to eat people. If you know that this guy is also a monster, I won't agree with him to come over if you say anything. It really doesn't kill people and disgusting people. Looking at the faces of the people below, Sha Yuja smiled. Laugh yourself to protect a group of such monkeys. Laugh Jujutsu Master would be persecuted by such monkeys. Advertisement. The more he laughed, the happier he was, and the more he laughed, the more presumptuous. Starting today, he will no longer protect any monkey. Boom boom boom. A huge cursed spirit, like a white python with a big fishy mouth, whizzed towards the villagers. Quack quack. Hiss. Countless cursed spirits of various shapes appeared out of thin air and walked towards the depths of the village. The moment they reappeared, they received this mission in their minds. Cruel and tyrannical emotions wrapped them in an instant. Each and every one walked towards the depths of the village with a grin. Because the order they received was, all torture. The screams and the begging for mercy were endless. The two little girls seemed to know the situation outside. The smaller body began to tremble slightly, but still did not put his hands down. Yeah, how happy, this is the joy of being alive, even though the wound in my chest still hurts. Suddenly, the singing of the two people sounded at the same time. The immature song went from trembling to firm, as if telling the future fate of the two. In those cruel days, this song spent countless late nights hard to sleep with them. Today, use this song to say goodbye to their painful lives. Yuja looked at the two sensible children and gently stroked their heads. I couldn't help but think, Jujutsu College, I can't go back. However, while preparing to flee, he still has a place to go. After thinking about it, he left this world of purgatory with two little girls. 3 hours later, it was evening. Yuja brought the two little girls to the door of the House of Everything. Is your boss here? The boss is not here recently. If you have any questions, you can find our second boss. Second boss? Yuja looked blank at the moment. Second boss is me, so it's the same if you tell me anything. Do you have a baby? Turning to look around, Fuhesher was looking at them in the corridor. Upon hearing this, Yuja shook his head. What are they? Are you in trouble? After seeing the scars on the two children, Fuhesher frowned. Are these two children the disciples who escaped from a big family? Does this want to be blessed by Ryuichi? Yuja smiled and shook his head when he heard the words. I want to ask Zenin Ryuichi a question. Oh, what's the problem? Advertisement. If a group of monkeys provoke him, what will he do? Hearing this question, Fuhesher laughed. You don't need to ask him about this kind of question at all. You know it very well, don't you? When Yuja heard this, Zenin Ryuichi's ruthless and cold eyes came to his mind. Intimidate the whole city, just to make two imaginary super-cursed spirits. Do people like this go back and think about what the monkeys think? Diaresis, yes, actually I know it very well, I just want to confirm it with my own ears. That's okay, when you see him, say hello for me. In recent years, we may not see each other. Looking at the back of Yuja leaving Shikli, Fuhei probably understood what had happened. After all, he was considered a friend of Ryuichi, and he couldn't help but reminded him loudly. Whatever you want to do, remember not to mutilate your parents, this is my advice to you. Tread. The footsteps stopped. Yuja was stuck in place by these words. He vaguely knew why he was reminded like this. Are you afraid of killing Zenin Ryuichi when he comes back? He raised his head and looked at the sunset from the street camera. Okay, thanks for reminding. Sure enough, I was still afraid of death. This is also true. Fuhesher looked at Yuja's back and stretched out comfortably. Li Zhao's looked at the room at the end of the corridor. Boss, when are you going to wake up? The Jujutsu world is going to be uneasy again. Inside Ryuichi's office, the obscure spell filled the room. The majestic curse power floated in the air, condensing on every object like dewdrops. From a distance, it looked like frost. Hoo. The spells floated towards the center of the room. After a short while, he disappeared into a figure. Click. The sound of breaking sounded. A little bit of debris gradually spilled on Ryuichi. Looking closely, these debris disappeared the moment they touched Ryuichi's body. The huge curse power spurted out again. Tick, tick the kai. A few drops of cursive liquid dripped on the ground. I don't know how long it will take to go through such a situation. Chapter 342. Advertisement. Jujutsu High School, Classroom Room. Bang. The wooden lecture table shattered in an instant. The ground was hammered into a big hole by the air wave. Hole. Both are assholes. How can I have these two students? One playing missing. One playing defected. What kind of people did I teach to? What did I teach to? Tick to tick. 2 drops of liquid dripped to the ground. Am I a qualified teacher? Early this morning, Yaga Masamiki has not yet come to school. So I received a notice from the executives of the Jujutsu Association. After investigation, Yuji used Jujutsu to slaughter villagers. According to Article 9 of the Jujutsu regulations, Yuji was judged to be a cursed division and must be sentenced. This notice is like a bolt from the blue. He is very familiar with Article 9 of Jujutsu. Because this is a sword of Damocles hanging from the head of every Jujutsu division. With this provision, those Jujutsu teachers can honestly accept the arrangement. This stipulation is that as a Jujutsu teacher, he becomes the target of punishment. Executioner Gojo Satoru. After Gojo Satoru grew up as a Jujutsu teacher, his name appeared in the ears of every Jujutsu teacher in this form. After experiencing several stabbing heads falling one after another, Gojo Satoru's name was hung on the killer net. No one would question his ability. Now, Gojo Satoru will become the executioner to execute Yuji. This kind of thing is like making Yaga Masamiki cut his right hand with his left hand. I can't accept it anyway. For some reason, there was a glimmer of fortune in his heart at this time. Fortunately, Gojo Satoru is not here. At the same time, everything is in the house. Fuhesher was looking at the phone with a serious face. The most eye-catching feature on Jujutsu's website is Yuji's news. Cut. This kid is quite bloody. The information revealed above Plus the state of the little girl next to Sha Yuji yesterday. Basically the whole thing is known. It's okay to be cool, ask me to be a bodyguard, won't it be okay? After all, it's still a button. Snapped. The phone was thrown on the table. Advertisement. Looking at the ceiling blankly. At this moment, he actually understood why Zenin Ryuichi liked to do this. It's so comfortable. I just don't know that blind man, he can't do anything to his friends. Gojo Satoru came to mind. Thinking of this, the corners of his mouth gradually lifted. It's not that I despise the blind man, even if they meet, he will never get involved. Single quote. Now let's see if Sha Yuji listens to my advice. He is a smart man and should understand what I mean. Single quote. Gojo's home. Elder. Urgent communication from the senior executives of the Jujutsu Association. Special Jujutsu Master Sha Yuji deviated from Jujutsu regulations and sent Gojo Satoru to be the executioner first, found out where Sha Yuji was hiding, and executed him. When the elder heard this, Ji Yubo was not surprised. I have experienced this kind of thing more than once, and I have long been used to it. You go to reply, it said, Gojo Satoru is missing, let them find it by themselves. This. I'm afraid it's not good, right? Yep. The elder raised his eyes and clearly did nothing, but the messenger fell to the ground and trembled. After you answer this letter, go and guard the gate. The job of sending letters is not only easy, but also full of oil and water. This is a job that everyone wants to get. He had climbed to this position because of his cleverness. Unexpectedly, just because of a word today, I will hand over this post. Although my heart is full of dissatisfaction, but there is no way at all. Yes, the little one understands. Seeing the people leaving, the elder looked at his backyard. This kid finally became self-motivated, how could he disrupt the rhythm of his practice because of these bad things? Single quote. 1 week later. There are more and more people discussing the Sha Yuji defect. Those jujutsu teachers on the internet are even more noisy. Isn't it saying that Gojo Satoru is the executioner? How come now, there has been no movement? Could it be the Jujutsu Association's cover? This Sha Yuji killed more than 100 lives, but nothing happened at all. It's not fair. Yes, we need to be treated equally. Why hasn't Gojo Satoru taken any shots so far? Sha Yu outstanding hand must have a reason. You can't slander him like this. You are Sha Yuji's accomplice. Hurry up and tell Sha Yuji's address. Don't force us to find you. Gray looked at the phone with an aura, and had been busy doing tasks before. After returning, I found that my most beloved senior had even massacred civilians and was wanted by the entire Jujutsu community. Until now, his mind is buzzing. How could such a gentle person do such a frantic thing? Advertisement. There must be a reason. I want to find out the reason. Wipe away the tears in the eye sockets. The look in the eyes gradually identified. The most important thing now is to contact Senior Sha Yu. But contact information is a problem. Senior Shoko may know the contact information of the senior. Thinking of this, he left the classroom. Go find Shoko Senpai. Kyoto, located in a villa on the middle of the mountain. An old man is looking at the content on the phone with a message. In those muddy eyes, greed emerged. Haha, good, Sha Yuji, you defected. I have coveted you and Gojo Satoru's body for a long time, and now I finally have a chance to realize this wish. Ha ha ha. The old man was too happy, and tears appeared in the corners of his eyes. After the excitement, it is the thinking about the future. Now Sha Yuji has defected and Gojo Satoru has become the executioner. One of them will inevitably die, and the high probability is Sha Yuji. There are two biggest problems now. First, where did Gojo Satoru go? P.S. Don't worry, the next one, Ryuichi is out of the game, and the pure love god of war is on stage. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. After all, this world is still the supremacy of strength. With that, Kamo Shanlin raised his eyes. What a headache, it's more reliable to think about how to seal you than to think about how to kill you. After all, Zenin Ryuichi's sentence is much more useful than that of Jujutsu Association executives. If you can get his body, maybe you can study the source of those jujutsu. So far, there is no one person or cursed spirit in this world, and he can be wiped out. What he wanted most was Zenin Ryuichi's body. The possibility of him getting Ryuichi's body is infinitely close to zero. The entire Jujutsu executives tried to find the executioner but couldn't find it, and even searched Gojo's house, but they didn't find the shadow of Gojo Satoru. But now he has no hope for this. Thinking of Zenin Ryuichi, I have a headache. A cube full of eyes, lying quietly on the wall. Such a situation where Jujutsu is born without cursive power but awakens Jujutsu the day after tomorrow is really rare. If I drag on like this, I don't know when it will be the head. I don't know what the troublesome guy's attitude is towards this matter. Second, Zenin Ryuichi's attitude towards this matter. Chapter 343. Advertisement. Time flies, and 5 years have passed in a blink of an eye. The Sha Yuji incident seemed to have been suspended. No one knows what happened. I only know that no one dares to discuss this matter on the internet anymore. But his wanted warrant is still hanging on the Jujutsu Division website. It's the same as Gojo Satoru's time. However, one is punishment and the other is chasing. Tokyo, a street smoking area. Hiss, who, many smokers smoke here. A happy smile bloomed on his face. Talk to each other about the troubles at work. Although they don't know each other, at this moment, they are like friends for many years, and they talk about everything. They even pat each other on the shoulders when they are happy. Look, there is a little girl smoking a cigarette over there. This dress should be a student. Everyone followed his gaze. A woman with short hair and black velvet clothes is just like them again and again, looking around with a cigarette in her mouth. It's a student, and there is a badge too. Haha, are the current students so precocious? Think back then. If I dared to smoke like this, I would definitely be beaten by men and women. Yes, me too. It was a painful experience to be stabbed to my hometown by the teacher. Several old men began to reminisce about previous years. And the girl who was smoking is the treasure of Jujutsu World, Ieri Shoko. Hiss, who? A cloud of smoke spit out. Shoko, after so many years, I never thought you were still the same. Shoko heard the sound and saw that Ryuichi was looking at herself with a smile not far away. For an instant, the past came to mind. A sorrow welled up his nose. No, don't embarrass in front of this B****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************œ here. Ryuji walked up to her, shoulder to shoulder, watching the pedestrians passing by. I just want to create a world with only jujutsu teachers. I am not a child, and I am not ready to get everyone's understanding. Today I just came to try my luck. Hiss, who? This kind of behavior that is not understood and depraved is quite naive, isn't it? And I'm not as crazy as you. With that, she took out her mobile phone from her arms and called Gojo Satoru in front of Ryuji. Aren't you leaving? Satoru is coming soon. Advertisement. Ryuji took a deep breath. Come on, there are some things that always have to be faced, don't they? Base. An outstanding figure appeared in the crowd. Explain to me, J. Gojo Satoru didn't wear sunglasses this time. Those blue eyes stared at the friend in front of him. 2 years ago, he wanted to tell his friends about his departure, but in exchange for news of his defect. This kind of blow is not trivial. Why would such a gentle person become like this? Sorrow, don't be angry, I just did something according to my idea, didn't you do this before? No, I'm not talking about this. Haven't you been opposed to meaningless killings? How has it changed? Is it meaningless? Of course it makes sense, and it's righteous. Shit righteousness. Can you create a world without cursed spirit by killing the non-jujutsu teacher? Knowing that you can't do it, it's meaningless. Facing Gojo Satoru's angry questioning, Ryuji turned his head and looked at him sideways. You are so arrogant. You and Zenin Ryuichi can do it easily, right? I have found my own way of life while you are working hard to become stronger, and the rest means that you are moving towards this goal. It seems that my luck today is not good. As if to make a final announcement, Ryuji turned around and left. At this moment, Gojo Satoru raised his finger, his cyan eyes staring at the back of Ryuji's departure. Kill if you kill each other. Anyway, you are the strongest, and your choices are meaningful. Gojo Satoru's movements froze in place. The curse power in the body seemed to have disappeared, without any movement. Ryuji just disappeared before his eyes. This difference, if you meet again next time, you will be the enemy. What's the matter? Jia is leaving. Shoko walked up to Gojo Satoru and looked at him frustrated, but couldn't say the second half of the sentence. Shoko, you said, am I a little ignorant of my friends? I think six eyes can see through all falsehoods, but I can't even see the change in the thinking of my best friend around me, haha. Tear. A strip of black cloth floated in the air. In the future, if it is not necessary, I will no longer use six eyes to see people. Enlightenment. Ieri Shoko looked at the back of Gojo Satoru leaving, with mixed feelings in his heart. Gojo Satoru, who used to be arrogant and unruly, seems to be sealed. Soon, Gojo Satoru came to the house of everything. Blind man, really blind this time, Gojo Satoru rarely refuted. Seeking flowers. Where is Ryuichi? Are you awake? Advertisement. No way, I don't know what the horse has gotten, so that he can absorb it for so long. Hearing this, Gojo Satoru stopped talking and turned to leave. The two guys should have met. I didn't expect to hit him so hard. Boss, you can't eat such a big melon, so it's a pity. Fuhesher looked at the deepest part of the corridor and shook his head. It has been 5 years, and there is still no sign of wanting to wake up. Time flies, another 5 years have passed. March is the month when winter goes to spring. It has been 9.5 years since Ryuichi retreat. All things house. Bang. 2 knives were thrown on the table. I am working for you. I really have suffered a big loss. After I wake up, I have to pay for it. ... 0. Fuhesher lay on the chair and looked at the ceiling. I don't know how many times I went out to kill. In the past 5 years, because Ryuichi has not appeared. There have been rumors spreading around that Zenin Ryuichi has been killed by cursed spirit. Or maybe he cooperated with a powerful cursed spirit to overthrow the Jujutsu world. For this kind of trouble, Fuhesher implemented the style of the past and solved it all. Those two guys are just like kids, so naive. For the past 5 years, Gojo Satoru has been busy handling the Jujutsu Association's investigation of Ryuichi. However, Shoyuji has gathered a considerable fortune through the church, and every time he will provide a detailed report to the House of All Things, just like a subordinate unit of the House of All Things. But these things are not interested in Fuhesher, and have not seen them. Although the two guys knew each other's existence, they maintained a certain tacit understanding and did not meet each other. This made Fuhesher want to laugh, but it was a decision by others, and he had nothing to say. Rumble, rumble, click. What's the situation? Fuhesher appeared outside Ryuichi's office in an instant. Waking up. The ground began to vibrate. A crack suddenly appeared in the sky. The dark energy spread towards the surroundings. After a while, the entire Tokyo sky was dyed black. All Jujutsu teachers felt the fear from the soul at this moment. At the same time, the execution room under the Jujutsu Association. A teasing sound faintly sounded. Do you want to die like this? 2. Chapter 344. Advertisement. Jujutsu Association, basement. The curtain of the spells floats in the air, transforming into a unique enchantment, completely blocking the curse power inside, and will not leak a trace to the outside. This is where the Jujutsu Association executes the secret death penalty. Between two huge twine ropes, a teenager squatted on a chair with his head in his arms. The Jujutsu Association decided to impose the death penalty on you. Is there anything else to say? Death sentence. Yes, I'm sorry, I should have died a long time ago. The sound of despair was filled in the back of the room. Gojo Satoru pulled down the strip of cloth on his face, exposing his blue eyes to the air. The relationship between the boy and the cursed spirit in his shadow is invisible under these eyes. After you understand, the corners of your mouth lifted slightly. You are only 16 years old and the world is so big, don't you want to go see it? No, I don't want to, I just want to stay here, I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. Hearing this, another figure appeared in Wusho Wu's heart. He used to be such a gentle person. Okatsu Yuta, the energy in your body is very powerful. It can not only hurt others, but can also be used to help others. You should learn how to use it. Okatsu Yuta was a little moved, and looked up at the stranger in front of him. You teach me. Rumble, rumble. The voice hasn't fallen yet. A huge vibration occurred throughout the room. The huge curse power penetrated the ground and reached the execution chamber. This familiar curse power, can't it be said? This curse power is too familiar, but it's been a long time since I have been exposed to it. For a while, Gojo Satoru was stunned. What's going on? Is the world doomsday? The anxious shout awakened Gojo Satoru. Don't be afraid, it's just a friend of mine who is about to wake up. Okatsu Yuta's eyes widened, looking at the man in front of him. Just kidding, this is stronger than Rika's oppressive power, how could it be your friend? Leave aside this, take your girlfriend back first, it's too scary to look at. Quack quack, click, click. Okatsu Yuta was tightly wrapped in both arms at this moment. A huge and ugly head hung in the air, and a pair of hollow eyes fixed on Gojo Satoru to prevent him from doing bad things. Rika, go back, there is no danger here. Lixiong paused for a while, re-emerging into the shadow, but its arms were still exposed, as if to say that this was its bottom line. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru shrugged, he didn't care how good Kimoto Rika was. It just makes him sick to keep watching like this. Rumble. The violent vibration came again. Gojo Satoru looked at the ups and downs around him with excitement. Let's go, my old friend is coming out. If you don't see him, you may be deducted from your salary in the future. Base. Gojo Satoru disappeared in place. Squeak. The door of the secret room opened. Okatsu Yuta frowned and glanced at the two arms around him. Forget it, I'll wait until he comes back. After speaking, his head fell between his knees again. Quiet again in the secret room. What's the matter? There is a special cursed spirit awakened. Is it true that what is said on the internet? Zenin Ryuichi really reached an agreement with cursed spirit? I think so, otherwise, why have so many Jujutsu masters died recently? It must be those cursed spirit sneak attacks. I think Zenin Ryuichi should have been executed secretly, this cursed spirit should have been changed by him. He didn't care about human life even alive, and became a cursed spirit. FK. No way, no way. I have to run away. The Tokyo Jujutsu masters gathered at the moment, looked up at the crack that suddenly appeared, and uttered their own guesses. Click. The crack expanded again. From the whole look, the sky seemed to be split from the middle by a sharp blade, it looked so terrifying, like the end of the world. Gojo Satoru's figure appeared at the door of the House of Everything. How? Ryuichi wakes up. Fuhesher and Nanami Kento are now in front of the office. The look is serious, not so optimistic. I don't know, the door of the office still won't open, or you should take a look. Gojo Satoru didn't talk nonsense, and took off the blindfold. Stars flickered in the blue eyes. The curse structure inside the room instantly appeared in his mind. Something is wrong. Ryuichi escaped while we were not paying attention. At this moment, there was nothing in the room except the curse power that was condensed. Except that Ryuichi is no longer in the room, there is only one possibility over there. That is, at this moment, Ryuichi's strength has far surpassed the upper limit that Six Eyes can detect. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru was taken aback by this thought. Will such people really exist in this world? Buzzing. Space began to oscillate. The three were directly pushed against the wall by this force. Looking at the office solemnly. What to do? If this continues, the House of All Things will soon become a target of public criticism. Nanami Kento looked at the situation in front of him and couldn't help asking. Hey, it's a big deal to kill one by one, and kill them to be terrified. The icy killing intent radiated from Fuheshir, and in the past 10 years, he was not a knife. Since sending Fushiguro Megumi to Gojo Satoru, he has changed back to the days and tyrants he used to be. Although Gojo Satoru didn't speak, he already tucked the blindfold into his mouth. Hello, is the boss going to wake up? Sha Yuji walked towards them slowly. Sha Yuji, do you want to be eliminated? Gojo Satoru raised his hands, as if he was ready to do it. The opposite Sha Yuji didn't have any fear. He placed Jayan with one hand in front of his face, and the curse power in his body began to gather towards his hands, which was also a hands-on appearance. ZZZ. The invisible momentum collided between the two, and there was a faint sound of friction. Fuheshir interrupted the tit-for-tat confrontation between the two and asked Sha Yuji. What's going on? Come and save me. Sha Yuji has a clear conscience about what he is doing now. The horrible suction pierced through the empty black space behind. Sha Yuji looked at the situation outside with a fiery face, and countless monkeys were sucked into the air by this force and disappeared into the black space. No matter how you look at it, Zenin Ryuichi is the best candidate. I didn't want to join the House of All Things, but Zenin Ryuichi has never been there. I felt this terrifying curse power today, so I came here to try my luck. He didn't want to be shot to death by Ryuichi, who suddenly appeared one day. You two are really not afraid of death. Are you not afraid that this guy wakes up and will settle accounts with you too? Moreover, he needs a backer that Gojo Satoru can't do easily. It's the power he wants. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The entire sky shattered in an instant, like glass shards, beginning to fall from the sky. Sha Yuji, what are you doing here? Click, click. I just didn't expect that Ryuichi has grown to this point at this moment. But he desperately wanted to know Zenin Ryuichi's intuitive attitude. Chapter 345. Advertisement. The horrible suction outside is still not over. In just a few minutes, hundreds of people have been sucked in. The crying, the noise is endless. Although Gojo Satoru looked ugly, he didn't go out to help them. The remaining 3 people seem to have nothing to do with them. All their minds are put here in Ryuichi. As long as he can wake up, it doesn't matter what happens outside. You said, how strong is this guy Ryuichi after he came out? Now this movement, I believe that he has become a god. Tisk tusk, who knows? This guy is a pervert. You can stay closed for 10 years, and those who don't know think he cultivates immortals. Speaking of this, Gojo Satoru looked excited. You said, did he fall on a certain cliff before, and then there was a cave with a secret book in it? Gojo Satoru got more excited as he talked, and almost ran in and asked himself. The people inside come out. Don't hide inside without making a sound. Come out. You did all these things out there, right? Are you not going to come out and explain? Don't hide. It's boring to hide like this, just explain something to everyone, don't hurt your peace. Get out. Killing so many people, do you still take Jujutsu Master's rules in your eyes? The 4 of them looked at each other and all saw the mockery in each other's eyes. Nanami Kento, you are guarding Ryuichi here, the 3 of us went out to see what happened. As the acting boss, Fuheshir's words are still very useful, and he does not let Nanami Kento go out as a kind of protection for him. The 3 walked out of the House of Everything side by side. The powerful aura instantly surrounded everyone present. With the dark sky above, everyone seemed to have seen the ancient demon god. You. Don't go too far. We are both Jujutsu masters, kill us and you will be over. And you, Gojo Satoru. Sha Yuji is here, why didn't you kill him? These people become more confident as they speak, and even want to walk in front of them and point their noses. Such a scene reminded Sha Yuji of the village. The same group of lambs bared their teeth towards the fierce lion. Although he didn't want to attack Jujutsu teacher, this feeling was really disgusting. Oh, who am I? It turned out to be a group of stray dogs looking for something to eat, but we don't have any leftovers here. Fuheshir pulled out his ears, as if he hadn't heard them. Why aren't you leaving? Do you want us to send it? Before he finished speaking, he was dragged down by his companions, for fear that the following words would provoke this evil spirit. UTM don't want to live anymore. He is Fuhesher, not Gojo Satoru. You provoke him, and no one will listen to him when he is dead. After speaking, this person hurriedly stayed away, as if he was afraid of being involved in an accident. At this moment, the person looked at the eyes of the people around him, and he also reacted. Advertisement. Sorry, I'm leaving now. Whoosh. A slip of smoke disappeared. The rest of the people looked at each other, and now neither is leaving nor staying. Since you don't want to leave, just stay. In the void, Ryuichi's voice pierced through the void. Not good. Zenin Ryuichi is still there. Run away. Who the hell said he was dead? If I am not dead, I will screw his head off when I go back. Run separately. Whoosh whoosh. Several people disappeared in place like shooting stars. At this moment, they are ruthless why they didn't learn more jujutsu who escaped. After hearing Zenin Ryuichi's voice, the three of Fuchs are no longer worried. Now that Ryuichi has spoken, it is impossible for these people to escape. The jujutsu masters looked back, but did not see Zenin Ryuichi, and Gojo Satoru were also there, and did not pursue them. I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Snapped. The sky seemed unbearable and finally shattered. The dark sky has no trace of color. Suddenly, a trace of blood red slowly lifted off. The whole land was reflected in blood red. The blood moon rises into the sky, and the night comes. Single quote. This is Zenin Ryuichi's domain. Several people were shocked. Still in the future and reacting, there seemed to be a piece of softness under my feet. Hair. Regret for being late. Whoosh whoosh. Creak. Several people didn't even have a chance to shout, they were dragged down under the blood moon, and were swallowed up by a few special cursed spirits there. Recover. 2 words spit out. The black in the sky seemed to have encountered a natural enemy, and began to flee towards a point. Until it disappears. The place where the sky was broken before is now intact. If it weren't for someone crying, what had just happened was like a dream. Ryuichi still did not leave the office at this moment. Advertisement. But he still knew what was happening outside. After absorbing the things left behind by the truth, there will be a qualitative leap in perception and curse power. At this moment, he is like a virus that has invaded the world server, and can steal the management authority inside at any time. It is very interesting that through the ingestion of this knowledge, his Tongtian seal directly rose to full level. It turned out that the supreme use of the Tongtian seal was to use the world authority through drawing symbols. Therefore, the truth can be regarded as complementing the shortcomings of the Tongtian seal, and it can be regarded as a surprise. Open panel. Divine Armament 100 Refinements. Successful, the current progress is 100%. 6 Immortal Thief Treasury. Successful, the current progress is 100%. Dispatch of Detained Spirits. Successful, the current progress is 100%. Feng Hu Chi Men. Successful, the current progress is 100%. Tong Tian Talisman. Successful, the current progress is 100%. Full Hand. Beginner, the current progress is 30 out of 100. Deluo Cave Temple. Not unlocked. Origin of Chi. Not unlocked. Quote. Looking at the 5 complete wonders on the panel, there was a hint of joy in his eyes. Call. The barrier in the room slowly disappeared. Parry snaps. Stretching, he made a sound like fried beans. Boom boom boom. Squeak. 4 people squeezed into the office. I haven't seen each other for 10 years, and the images of the 4 have changed. But the temperament on his body hasn't changed much. After scanning, Ryuichi focused his attention on Gojo Satoru and Sha Yuji. It is the 2 of them that have changed the most. One is restrained, the other is lively and unrestrained. It seemed that Sha Yuji still embarked on that path after all. Wow, Ryuichi, it's been 10 years since you thought that your appearance hasn't changed much. I thought you would be full of beards, like a savage. Gojo Satoru stared at Ryuichi with the look of aliens, starlight gleaming in those blue eyes, and wanted to see how far Ryuichi was now. When Ryuichi's body uses 6 eyes, he can't see a trace of mantra power. Your body. What's wrong? Chapter 346. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru's words made the faces of the next few people tense. Everything that happened outside meant that Ryuichi was in perfect condition, so he didn't think about anything else. Is it all pretend? Ryuichi is in very bad health now. Tatata, Sha Yuji and Fuhesher came to Ryuichi and looked at Gojo Satoru with serious faces. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with Ryuichi's body? Although Nanami Kento didn't step forward, his eyes kept staring at the situation here, and his sleeves were curled into a ball at the moment, and he couldn't feel it. No, I don't know how to say it, let him tell you by himself. Hearing the question, Gojo Satoru smiled bitterly on his face, which is the same as when he observed the room before. Using 6-eye observation, Ryuichi's body is still not visible. I saw a few people focus on themselves. Ryuichi stretched, subconsciously trying to lean against the chair. Only then did I find that the room was empty. You emptied my office while I was away. 4 people. Don't change the subject, what are you doing now? So that I can be mentally prepared. Fuheshir couldn't bear this kind of ink, so he couldn't wait to take Ryuichi directly to find a hospital for examination. It's nothing, it's better than before. Hiss. When the three heard this, they took a breath. Looking at his current expression, this point is probably a billion points. In this way, the room was strangely quiet for half an hour. By the way, I almost forgot. Snap it. There are a few more stones on the ground. That old man came several times during your retreat and said he was paying you a reward. Hearing that you were retreating, he gave me these things first. Looking at a few stones on the ground, Ryuichi took out the stone in his arms. After counting, there is actually one more piece. It really deserves to be an old guy who has been in human society for so long. Well, I have completed the task, and I have received the reward, and the transaction is complete. After learning that Ryuichi was okay, Fuchsir and Nanami Kento stopped staying, left the room, and went out to buy something for this empty office. Gojo Satoru and Sha Yuji are now on both sides of Ryuichi. No one spoke, but no one left. Advertisement. You too, do you have something to tell me? When you were in retreat, I found the direction of my efforts, but this direction does not seem to be accepted by others. Sha Yuji told the story directly, and also stated his goal. Ryuichi was not surprised when he heard what he said, because he knew the plot. Have you ever thought about making cursed spirits of corresponding emotions so that they can gather human negative emotions and control them in our hands? This sentence sounded like thunder in his ears. He opened his mind directly. Yeah, why can't I think of this way? Although I don't have the ability to make cursed spirits, I can capture those cursed spirits, but the cursed spirits I caught can no longer evolve. How can I let them continue to absorb those cursive powers? Sha Yuji is now full of thoughts about how to upgrade the controlled cursed spirit, completely ignoring the frowning Gojo Satoru. Ryuichi, don't you think what he is doing is meaningless? How can you let him go and mess around? Gojo Satoru looked at both of them speechlessly. If this goes on, he will only be on the wrong path and sink deeper and deeper. Ryuichi frowned when he heard Gojo Satoru's question. Then what is meaningful? The same problem, different people. Gojo Satoru was speechless and didn't know how to say it for a while. Protect all mankind. Protect the weak. Maintain peace in the Jujutsu world. Give me a break. At that time, Sha Yuji was because what he did was contrary to his previous ideas. But Zenin Ryuichi does not have this problem here. It can be said that even if all mankind is dead, what to do with him? Gojo Satoru, look, you don't know what makes sense. Speaking of this, Ryuichi crossed his legs and floated in the air again, looking at him with those moon-white eyes. Master Jujutsu does not have a natural duty. I will protect you, just because I want to protect you, that's all. The so-called meaningfulness is just what I want to do. So, what Sha Yuji did is meaningful to him. Then I will also do something meaningful. That is to prevent you from killing ordinary people. When Sha Yuji heard the words, a gentle smile appeared on his face again. Please, please, base. Gojo Satoru's figure disappeared in the office. It seems that I went back to think about how to deal with this matter. Why didn't you leave? Advertisement. Ryuichi watched Sha Yuji still in front of him, and didn't mean to leave. I have one more thing. Bang. Sha Yuji bowed directly in front of Ryuichi. Diaresis, I am willing to use all my savings to replace me as an employee of the House of All Things. Recently, I founded a sect that specializes in removing cursed spirit for ordinary people. The current income is pretty good. In the past few years, I have handed over the accounts to the House of All Things every year. As long as you agree, I am willing to hand in all the money. The tone is sincere and the attitude is resolved. What can you do for the House of Everything? When Sha Yuji heard the words, there was a gleam of light in her narrow eyes. If there is a problem, there is hope. I can use my sect to make money for the House of Everything. At the same time, I also have my own intelligence network. Although it is not as good as the House of Everything, there are still some abilities among those monkeys, ordinary people. If you want to find someone, I still use it. Finally, I have to help you research the ability to make a cursed spirit that absorbs emotions. His fingers hit his knees. Hearing this, Sha Yuji trembled all over, stood up and looked at the stones on the ground. 2 hours passed. Seeing Ryuichi nodded, a huge boulder in Sha Yuji's heart was finally put down. He is the main person in charge of that experiment. Bang bang bang. Kai. 6 cursed spirits appeared in the room, and the test began. This is my stepping stone. Must succeed. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. I succeeded. Am I now an intern in the House of Everything? Now, his excited heart has cooled. Boom. With the passage of time, Sha Yuji's forehead has oozes a little fine sweat. This kind of thing, the longer you think about it, Li Zhao's, the more likely it will become yellow. Summon your cursed spirits one by one. If there is a cursed spirit that can absorb these stones, then I agree that you will become an intern in the House of Everything. The pile of stones left by Fuheshir appeared before him. After 2 days, you come to see a colleague, and you will mainly cooperate with him in the future. Sure enough, it still doesn't work. Single quote. Chapter 347. Advertisement. The next day, news that Zenin Ryuichi was still alive spread across the Jujutsu world in an instant. What happened in Tokyo yesterday, but Zenin Ryuichi woke up. IDNMMP, is that a movement that humans can send out? I thought it was the end of the world. Is it all right if so many people died yesterday? Is there fairness in this world? That man is so strong, can anyone punish him? He is now above the entire Jujutsu world, right? Isn't it before? The last comment directly killed the post. Fuhesher swiped his phone and chuckles from time to time. These Jujutsu teachers are really free. As everyone knows, he sold this news himself. This information brought him no less than tens of millions of profits. Sure enough, selling information is more profitable than killing people. Ta. There was a sound of footsteps. A figure appeared in front of him. Father, why did you call me today? The person here is Fushiguro Megumi. 10 years later, he has grown from that little guy to a handsome teenager. Because I've been following Gojo Satoru to get rid of cursed spirit. Although I haven't officially entered Jujutsu College, I have already put on their school uniform. The black school uniform with a stern appearance is quite charming. Haha, it's been a long time since I saw you, what about the blind man? Oh, the teacher has something to do, so he won't come here today. It's better if you didn't come, walk around and take you to meet the owner of the House of Everything. Upon hearing this, Fushiguro Megumi was taken aback. Boss, is that invincible Zenin Ryuichi awake? As a child of Fuhesher, he still knows the news that the owner of the House of All Things retreats in recent years. However, he went out to do the task by himself yesterday, and only came back today. In addition, he doesn't like to communicate with other Jujutsu teachers, so he doesn't know what happened here yesterday. Suddenly, when Fuhesher said this, his mind was a little confused. Don't be stunned, come with me, and meet that Ryuichi brother, uncle. Fuhesher always had Zenin Ryuichi's almost unchanged face in his mind. It's not an exaggeration to let Fushiguro Megumi call him his brother, but it's a bargain for Ryuichi for nothing. If the autumn is settled, the sale is not a good deal. Advertisement. Hello. Megaman is here too. Are you here to see Ryuichi? Let's be together. The man behind me will join Jujutsu College in a few days and become my student. He will be your senior in the future. It just so happens. You guys get to know him first. Okatsu Yuta lowered his head and stood behind Gojo Satoru, carefully watching the people present. Fushiguro Megumi was cold again, and the first time we met, it passed awkwardly and calmly. Blind man, Fushiguro Megumi and Ryuichi haven't seen each other for a long time. It's normal for me to take him to see him. What do you mean by bringing someone you don't know here? It's not interesting. When I saw a piece of jade, I couldn't help but find someone to show it off. If it wasn't for the scale, I would also call him over. Hearing this, Fuhesher's eyes flashed. Carefully observe the Okatsu Yuta behind him. Quack. Careful. The worried voices of Fushiguro Megumi and Okatsu Yuta sounded at the same time. Bang. Fuhesher had two more sharp blades in his hands, one left and the other blocked the attack. Base. As soon as his legs pressed hard, the whole person turned back into the corridor. This guy is quite strong, let me see what it is. With the glasses on, two huge arms were exposed to the air. One left and one right guards Okatsu Yuta in the middle. Premium cursed spirit. How about it, this guy is pretty good. Fuhesher did not speak, but the corners of his mouth slightly lifted. Since it's here, let's go, don't waste time. After speaking, he took the lead to walk towards Ryuichi's office. Boss, we are here. Several people walked into the office. The room has been dressed up at this moment. The style is exactly the same as before. Especially the freezer and snack rack on the wall are even bigger than the previous ones. Quack. Boom. The moment the door opened, a terrifying curse burst out from behind Okatsu Yuta. A pair of giant hands stopped in front of him, not letting him in. To solve this 5 million cursed spirit, do I need to do it? A lazy voice came from the door. Those two huge arms trembled faintly at this moment. Advertisement. And unanimously through induction, let Okatsu Yuta leave here quickly. She's afraid of this man. Single quote. Okatsu Yuta felt Rika's fear from the soul for the first time. Even in the face of Gojo Satoru's emotions that have never appeared before. No, I just brought my students to meet you. He has no less potential than mine. This sentence made Fuhei and his son look slightly, but Puyu's words, it is not likely that there will be much results in the future. But no less than the potential of Gojo Satoru, which is a bit scary. In the past 10 years, a guy called Scale has received this evaluation. I didn't expect to see another one today. Is the Jujutsu world going to change? However, he came today with a purpose. I came with Wei today. I haven't seen him for so many years. Today I will show him to this uncle who hasn't seen him for many years. After speaking, he took the lead and walked in. Although Okatsu Yuta wanted to enter, but was desperately stopped, he could only look at Gojo Satoru for help. Go back. Whoosh. Before the voice fell, Kibin Lixiong went straight back into the shadow. The speed is so fast that Gojo Satoru can't help but want to give her a thumbs up. I haven't seen Wei Wei for so many years, don't you mean it? Today is not just for me to meet two young people. I obviously didn't feel anything, why is Rika so scared? Single quote. If you insist on the difference, it is that Fushiguro Megumi's current character is more cheerful than the original. Okatsu Judia is still too immature now, a wimpy look, far from the pure love god of war in the future. The boss randomly threw out a weapon, it was at least a cursed tool. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Here, pick whatever you want. In this way, he walked into the room in a daze. Haha, how about you say you are the boss? If this is put outside, it will be too much for jujutsu teachers to ask for it. Or he has forced out of my understanding, so I can't feel anything. Single quote. A strong light flashed, and many things were piled on the ground. Ryuichi raised his eyes and glanced at the two of them, not much different from the plot. Out of the understanding of Bohesher, this guy's purpose is definitely not simple. When Okatsu Yuta saw this, his eyes were filled with confusion. Fuhesher rubbed his hands and stared at Ryuichi with shining eyes. Chapter 348. Advertisement. Each cursed tool is wrapped with a faint light. It seems to herald his extraordinary. After Ryuichi made these into the cursed tool, he put it aside, if it weren't for Shear's reminder. He almost forgot that he still has so many cursed tools. Fuhesher picked two protective cursed tools in it. One is the mediocre glyph jade pendant. But if you look closely, you can see that the above curse power actually flows according to a certain strange law. The other is a black cloth belt, this one is really indistinguishable, there is no wave of curse power, not even a line of different colors. But after all, being with these babies is definitely not, it will be too bad. Boss, you don't want all these things, right? Fuheshir still knows Ryuichi, these things are not put aside fall ashes. Might as well think of a way to sell them. But it was too bad to sell like this. Uncomfortable. Oh, there are so many good things. Jewish, you are welcome, let's pick two too. Ignoring the dazed Okatsu Jewish, Gojo Satoru stepped forward to search for it. In fact, he didn't know what he wanted, whether it was attack, defense or domain. He is almost perfect now. It can even be said that any props in his hands are rubbish. Why not attack him empty-handed? Oh, found a good thing. Click. From the pile of things, he took out something like a blindfold. Eye massager. Seeing this power, Fuhesher couldn't help but fall into a few black lines on his face. There are actually such toys in this bunch of cursed tools. The most important thing was picked up by the blind man. Why didn't I look for it carefully? Fuhesher has been yearning for Ryuichi's quality of life for a long time. After a month of tireless work, he changed to a chair that combines rest and massage. I want to go up and lie down for a while when I'm fine every day. It's good now, this guy didn't do anything, so he got something suitable for him. Wow, it's so comfortable. Unexpectedly, you will enjoy life quite a bit. With the massage chair, Gojo Satoru gave a thumbs up to Zenin Ryuichi's position. This thing is right for him, and it is still a second-level cursed tool. Advertisement. Perfect. I want to ask you to help me liberate Rika. Okatsu Jews didn't look for something, but walked to the desk. To Zenin Ryuichi, he expressed his yearning. This may be his only chance to liberate Lixiong. If you miss it, you don't know how many people will be hurt in the future. Ryuichi heard these words and stared at Gojo Satoru next to him with long, narrow eyes. You have to learn to control your own power, not to avoid problems. Even if you really get rid of this cursed spirit, if you can't control the power, there will be another one. Gojo Satoru put down the massager and stared at Okatsu in front of him. This kid has unlimited potential, and if he doesn't practice it, it's too easy to go into evil ways. Okatsu was silent. Because of Rika's cursed spirit, he had given up too much. He didn't even dare to meet his relatives, for fear that Rika couldn't help hurting them. His heart is too tired, so he wants to find a place to rest. I can remove this cursed spirit for you, but the price is 5 million. 5 million people, except for a special cursed spirit, is already very affordable. It can even be said to be cheap. Shin Chu, can you let her leave me and go to heaven? Ryuichi's long narrow eyes weigh mi, his voice filled with disdain. Heaven. Gojo Satoru, didn't you tell him the rules in the Jujutsu world? Gojo Satoru shrugged, looking like he hadn't had time. I only have to get rid of it here. Eliminating a super cursed spirit is similar to eliminating a teenie to Ryuichi. Not to mention raising your hand to destroy it, but it doesn't take much effort. If there is any other method, of course there is, Zhu Ling can send the general. But for Ryuichi, unless cursed spirit's jujutsu is interesting, he won't even bother with the horse. Not to mention Lixiong, who hasn't untied the shackles, is so ugly that he won't touch it no matter how strong it is. This sentence directly ruined Okatsu's Jewish thoughts. Forget it, instead of letting her disappear, I would rather learn how to control my power from Gojo. Gojo Satoru didn't even show a wry smile when he heard that he had no choice but to choose. That's right, Ryuichi, I still have a student, but he is not at school recently. When he comes back, I will bring him over to meet you. Ryuichi said it didn't matter, he would rest in the office when he was okay. And even if he disagrees, Gojo Satoru will definitely look for him everywhere. Seeking flowers. Well, I have to take him to go through the enrollment procedures today, so we will leave first. Advertisement. Bye-bye. With that said, Gojo Satoru took out a stick from the cursed tool. There is no pattern or decoration, and the appearance is unremarkable. But Gojo Satoru knows that this stick is a real super cursed tool. Fuhesher learned a lot, and took 3 more cursed tools in it. 1 pair of gloves, 2 knives. The appearance is very gorgeous, but it is only a secondary cursed tool. I believe that a large group of people will buy them based on their appearance. The price will definitely be high by then. We will leave first, and we will bring him over when the child's birthday is celebrated. Hearing this, Fushiguro Megumi rolled his eyes. He considered his father's shamelessness and gained a deeper understanding. Uncle Ryuichi. Bye uncle. Facing such a young face, the word uncle is really hard to say. Ryuichi waved his hand, and finally the room was quiet again. Snapped. Ryuichi snapped his fingers and disappeared instantly. Is it really only me to set Lixiong free? Can't even the owner of this house of everything do it? Hearing such naive words, Gojo Satoru shook his head. Don't be discouraged. Although I didn't help you out of Rika's protection, I didn't help you get a good thing. Looking at Okatsu's disappointed eyes, Gojo Satoru put his shoulders. I can give money. 5 million is not enough, 10 million is also fine. Don't be discouraged, as long as you control your strength, your childhood sweetheart will be free. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Gojo Satoru looked at the lost Okatsu Jewish around him. Let's go. Take you to meet our principal first, that's a very serious uncle. Be careful of being beaten by him. 2. On the way to Jujutsu College. Do you think 10 million can get me shot? Gojo Satoru raised his head and raised the corners of his mouth. He should be able to do it, but it's too much trouble and it's not good for him. The mirror surface of the ancient mirror on the table is rippling. Secretly said in his heart, this may be the most suitable weapon for you. So, if you see him in the future, don't say such things. If you make him angry, I won't be able to save you. But it can't be used for you now. I'll give it to you when you fully control the physical energy. Chapter 349. Advertisement. Tokyo, a residential house. Boom. A punch fell on the table. The table shattered. Several people around frowned when they saw the crumbs. Calm down. Zenin Ryuichi is only confirming that he is not dead. If he does come over, can you not explode where it is? One of them couldn't help but complain, after all, not everyone can bear this violent temper. FK. Do you know how terrible the fake Zenin Ryuichi is? You don't know anything. I've heard of this person too. It's really amazing, but has no direct contact with us. Wouldn't it be better not to provoke him? That's right. I know this guy. He doesn't care about other people's life or death. We just don't mess with him. These people are very real. After all, they are targeting Gojo Satoru. What does it have to do with that Zenin Ryuichi? They are not stupid and provoke 2 monsters at the same time. You guys. Hey, do you think Zenin Ryuichi will be disturbed by Gojo Satoru? Don't be silly. Gojo Satoru and the 2 have known each other since they were young. The relationship between the 2 is much closer than we are. As soon as this sentence came out, several people around stopped talking. When it comes to friend relations, their cursed teacher really can't talk about it. Before that, they were fighting alone. It's good not to play tricks with each other. How can you sit here in a meeting like you do now? Ahem. We have all started, can we still regret it? At this moment, an old man standing on the side came over. Pray, your family has already abandoned you, don't you want to avenge them? The person praying for the mother-in-law glanced at him calmly, without any waves in his eyes. When I was abandoned by them, I had already broken with them. Even if I was paid, it would not be my turn. If you are really scared, we can make some trouble for Gojo Satoru and see the man's attitude. This method works, I agree. Seconded. Support. Seeing that several people around all agree, the irritable old man at first can only lower his head. That's not enough. Rather than being scared there, it's better to take the initiative. Recently I found a sealer. He has some good things. Let's buy a few and try them. After getting everyone's consent, I prayed that my mother-in-law would leave the house. A group of cockroaches that are only worth living in the sewers. If you don't need you, I really want to kill you now. 2 hours later, I pray that my mother-in-law will come to Tokyo's villa area alone. Advertisement. After the guard asked to confirm his identity. Came to the small Western-style building located in the center of the villa area. Boom boom boom. The door was opened. An old man over 100 years old appeared at the door. Haha, Heihu, your little mansion is really conspicuous here. I beg my mother, Don't talk about those imaginary ones, why are you looking for me? Although the attitude is average, the old man still introduces the imperial wife into the house. The two were sitting in the living room with 2 cups of hot tea on the coffee table. Looks like 2 old friends who have grown up for many years. Don't worry, I didn't let you steal the corpse this time. I wanted to buy some cursed spirits from you. A gleam of light flashed in the old man's turbid eyes. Every time this imploring mother came to him, she wanted to get some corpse reports through his relationship. Unexpectedly, I wanted to buy cursed spirit from him this time. You know, the price of cursed spirit here is not cheap. In recent years, Fuhesher has provided sufficient resources for the laboratory. Almost all cursed spirit sold on the market was bought. The price of the current cursed spirit remains high. Now, a small 4-level cursed spirit can be sold for a price of 50W. He also contributed to the work of removing spirits in a disguised form. I know, I want to buy 2 quasi-first level cursed spirits. You can say a price. If it's appropriate, you can pay now. Hearing this, the old man smiled even more and drank the green tea in the cup. It's easy to talk about it, it's quasi-level 2, a total of 1600W, how about it? Heyhu, tell me the real price, don't talk about these fictitious things, I don't have time to bargain with you here. He, then 1400W, it can't be lower, you know, now the second level cursed spirit is 400W. I pray that my mother will not speak much, the price is within her acceptable range. Boom. 2 boxes appeared on the table, and when they opened it, they were full of banknotes. Haha, I like a refreshing person like you. Whizzing. The 2 scrolls were thrown over. I prayed that she held it in her hand and found it was just an ordinary scroll. There are 2 yellow talisman papers sticking to the opening. I pray that my mother-in-law frowns her brows tightly, at this time she bought cursed spirit for the first time. I can't feel the power of this thing at all, does it really contain cursed spirit? Single quote. Advertisement. This thing is not fake, is it? Single quote. The old man seemed to have read her thoughts, and after putting away the cash box, he said to her. Don't look at it simple, it's too much trouble to make. When using it, you need to tear off the seal, pour some magic power, and throw it out. But I suggest you not to ignore them too close, this kind of cursed spirit is still too much trouble for you. In the entire jujutsu industry, not many people reach the level of quasi-level. But Praying Mother is definitely not one of them. In case, such a big customer is lost due to misuse. Then he would be heartbroken to death. Can you give me a demonstration? I'm afraid of improper operation at that time, what should I do if something goes wrong? As a cursed teacher, she doesn't believe anyone has become her instinct. The old man seems to be accustomed to this kind of problem. Take out a miniature scroll directly from behind the sofa. It was only 1/10 the size of the one in her hand, and it didn't show at all in her hand. Bang! White smoke flashed, and the scroll disappeared. A teeny head flew out of the smoke. How do you believe it? Hello, Nanami Kento. Anyway, our boss is Ryuichi, or else, follow me to Jujutsu College. Time flies, and 4 months have passed. The old man looked down, his face smiled even more. Gojo Satoru tilted his head and looked at Nanami Kento, but he didn't get any response. He turned his head and walked to Ryuichi's office. A man in a black school uniform and a blindfold came to the house of everything. Do you agree? Then I went to talk to Ryuichi. Pedestrian clothes on the street have also begun to decrease. The weather came to summer again. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Ryuichi, if something has happened recently, discuss something with you. The boss is in the room, you can go to him directly if you have something to do. Are you going to start again? Suddenly, black light flickered on his chest. Haha, why don't you believe it? I have always believed in you. The old man looked at the back of the begging mother to leave with an undiminished smile on his face. Okay, I see what you mean. Chapter 350. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru stood in front of Ryuichi. Ryuichi's sight was strictly obscured by his height of 1.9 meters. Ryuichi, discuss something with you. What's the matter? Say. Ryuichi didn't even look up, and Gojo Satoru didn't know what he had experienced in the past 5 years. The character is getting more and more free and speaking too hard. There are 2 months to go. It will be the Tokyo and Kyoto Jujutsu College exchange meeting. I want to invite you to join me as a referee. Recently, Okatsu has made great progress in the Jewish community. I want him to go to the exchange meeting to strengthen his confidence. Okatsu Jewish in this short time, with friends, except for 2 quasi-first level cursed spirits. There has also been an obvious change in personality. After participating in this exchange competition again, I believe he will soon become a real super jujutsu teacher. Impossible. Do you have anything to do? It's okay, but think about what happened when you invited me to watch the game last time. To me, you mean trouble. Hearing this, Gojo Satoru didn't know how to refute for a while. You can't say that. Someone was involved in the incident last time. It has nothing to do with me. Now, I'm at the top of the association. Who dare to make trouble under my eyelids? Oh, did you speak up? This is not true, but I will do it in the future. Ryuichi didn't comment on what he said, but still didn't plan to go. What is there to see in a one-sided game? Isn't that a waste of time? If you don't go, then you won't see how far the child grows up. Don't you really care? Don't care. His strength has nothing to do with me. Although Gojo Satoru's eyes were blindfolded, he couldn't help but roll his eyes. 10 years have passed. Not only has his appearance remained unchanged, but his personality has not changed at all. Forget it. I'll go and see it by myself. This guy will definitely not be low in the future, I said. A residential house in Tokyo. Pray, mother, do you have anything to say? Exactly. After spending so much money, what did the final test come out? What's the quasi-level cursed spirit? I don't think even the third-level cursed spirit is counted. A few people gathered together and began to make trouble towards the begging mother. After all, the tens of millions were thrown out, and they didn't even hear a sound. How could they accept it? Boom boom boom. Advertisement. The crutches hit the ground hard. What? I agreed to all of them at the beginning, but now I feel that there is no effect and start to play rascals with me. Why doesn't it even make a sound? Didn't you tell that there is a particularly good guy among Gojo Satoru's students? Didn't you also find out, Zenin Ryuichi won't chase us because of Gojo Satoru? What else do you want to know? Do you still want to use these two cursed spirits to kill Gojo Satoru? Ling Yu glanced around, raising his head when they looked embarrassed. This is the end of the matter. I'll explain it to the boss, and you don't have to worry about it. A bunch of trash. When everyone heard those 4 words, their faces were uncertain, and the one with the most tempered temper even prepared to get up. Boom. A big hole appeared in the ground. A young man squatted on the ground, looking at them blankly. It seems to be telling them that if you dare to say one more thing, the end will be the same as on the ground. Seeing this, although they were angry, they did not have any episodes. I pray that as a veteran curse teacher, she still has the strength. Fighting with her is not dominant. Seeing that they did not move, the young man followed the begging mother and left the room. Several people looked at each other and couldn't help sighing. The appearance of Gojo Satoru greatly compressed the living space of the cursed division. It would be great if he could be like Zenin Ryuichi and dismiss other people's life and death. Pray for the mother-in-law to leave the house. Go straight to the previous villa area. Open the door. Heihu Yongren, hurry out and open the door. The door opens. I found that the one standing outside turned out to be a begging mother. A smile suddenly appeared on his face. Come on, how about? Cursed spirit is pretty good, aren't you going to buy more? Don't give me close ones. What kind of quasi-first level cursed spirits you sold? You can't even beat a freshman from Jujutsu College. Did you sell me 2 third-level cursed spirits, shoddy? Heihu Yongren looked at the state of the begging mother, and he didn't look like a bad person. But what I sell is indeed a quasi-level 1. Can you elaborate on the situation? I prayed that my mother told me what I had done in the past few months. From the initial doubt to the final surprise, Heihu Yongren. Looking at his surprised expression, impatience appeared on his face. Advertisement. Are you not going to solve the cursed spirit problem? Heihu Yongren did not speak because the black light on his chest flickered again. It's just that this time he wears an extra coat that outsiders can't see at all. I'm pretty sure, what I sold you is 2 quasi-level 1, and the money is impossible to refund. Don't worry, but I am very interested in the young man you are talking about. If you are willing to do me a favor later, I will pay you 7 million. Hearing his request, I was surprised at first, and then frowned. What do you want to do? Teacher curse, living is the main thing, and harming others is the auxiliary. For example, Zenin Ryuichi, there is no conflict of interest between the two, and running away is the kingly way. If it weren't for Gojo Satoru to be too strong, they would not be willing to provoke such a strong one. It must be a small matter to get a seal master to ask for help. You can't agree directly. Haha, don't worry, what I want you to do is very simple, that is, the day before Christmas, help me hold the people from Jujutsu College. Why? There is no reason, and you don't need to be afraid. I'm not asking you to confront Gojo Satoru head-on, just throw out what I gave you. Heihu Yongren got up and brought the imperial wife to the left side of the living room. This is not connected to the room upstairs. Standing here, you can see the ceiling of the entire small Western-style building at a glance. It is about 15 meters high. A huge drape hung here, and he seemed to think there was a huge floor-to-ceiling window. You don't need to know about the others. As long as you nod, I can pick 2 of them and give them to you. Think of what this guy said before. I beg her to look at the things in front of her with an incredible face. You don't want to slaughter the city. Wow. Prayer looked at the seal scrolls on the wall, her turbid eyes flickered. Are you sure to throw all these things out? IFK. The curtains opened. A terrifying thought came to her mind. With the sound of the zipper. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Okay, I agree. The things in front of her completely made the imperial wife lose her language management ability. Call. Heihu Yongren saw the expression on the face of the begging mother, and the evil taste in his heart was satisfied. With Wei Mi in both eyes, a proud smile appeared on her face. The whole person stayed in place. Chapter 351. Advertisement. I begged the mother to leave the villa. Whoosh. 2 scrolls were thrown into the air. A young man took them in his hands. Look carefully, the first level marked on the muddy yellow talisman paper. Got a big order, this is wages. The young man kept silent, put his things away, and followed the begging mother. Hey, the next step is to report to the boss, what should I say? I pray that my mother's face is full of helplessness, and this test is her advocate. Now that she fails, she must take responsibility. You can't run away. After half an hour, I begged her to hang up the phone. Looking at the road in front of me in a daze, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. There is a force majeure factor, the plan is suspended. That's good, you can see what Heihu this crazy guy is going to do, so as not to sell me in time. Now I think back to the wall full of seal scrolls. The silent heart couldn't help but jump. Grandson, let's go, we have something to do recently. In a blink of an eye, it came to the beginning of October. The weather has gradually become cooler, but still maintains at more than 30 degrees. For some reason, cursed spirits' activities have gradually decreased recently. It seems that everything is developing for the better. But this abnormal situation has attracted the attention of the Jujutsu Association. Jujutsu High School, Meeting Room. Gojo Satoru, cursed spirits' activities are not normal recently, do you know why? Zishui Shushu sits in the first place, and the sun shines into the house from behind him. If you don't look carefully, you really can't see his expression. I don't know, isn't it okay for the cursed spirit to be less active? Doesn't it have to be busy every day and can't sleep? Be careful when you speak. Last time the Okatsuju made the super cursed spirit show his true body, he hasn't settled with you yet, what kind of attitude do you have now? Hearing this, Gojo Satoru put his legs back on the ground and sat upright. Just remember that he is my person. If something goes wrong, I will be responsible, and you will leave the rest alone, understand? Advertisement. Yep. The man was about to say something, but Gojo Satoru glanced back. At some point, Gojo Satoru removed the mask from his face. Staring at the people sitting with those blue eyes. Don't say that he caused me to be responsible, even if I'm not responsible, what can you do? Don't forget, I'm on my student's side. The domineering words shook several people around him afraid to speak. It has been a long time since I have seen him in such a state, and all of you here have almost forgotten the arrogance of Gojo Satoru. Ahem. Okatsu is in good shape right now, don't talk about it, let's talk about cursed spirit first. The number of cursed spirits has dropped sharply recently, which reminds me of that disaster. Zishui Shushu frowned. The last time he encountered this situation was 10 years ago. Is that level of battle going to happen again? Don't worry, our Shikigami hasn't changed anything. In this situation, someone or an organization should be hunting cursed spirit. Onmyojis have the most say at this time, because the Shikigami in their hands has not noticed any changes. In the last Black Cloud incident, their Shikigami group got out of control, which greatly weakened the combat power of their Onmyoji. For this reason, in this decade, they have been strengthening the bond with Shigami. It is now possible to communicate with Shiji. They recently explored the city and found nothing suspicious. Anbei Heron, you can't take it lightly because it's not the cursed spirit gathering power. If some people want to control the cursed spirit to attack humans, we must also protect them. Although there was no name, everyone's attention was focused on Gojo Satoru. This meaning is obvious. If you have time to chew your tongue here, it's better to hurry up and investigate the truth. I have something to do, so I will leave first. If you want to talk, just continue. Gojo Satoru puts the blindfold on. Leave them a dashing back. It must be Sha Yuji's ghost. Gojo Satoru is covering for him. These two people are the same. Otherwise, not only Gojo Satoru, but Zenin Ryuichi is also his backing. You have the ability to kill you. In recent years, Gojo Satoru has recruited a lot of talented students, but they don't seem to care about the Jujutsu Association. This is not good news. After seeing Gojo Satoru leave, the others began to chew their tongues behind their backs. This has become their traditional show. After all, I didn't dare to say it in person, but it was too uncomfortable to hold it in my heart. The Anbei High people sat quietly in their place and did not participate in their discussions. In the past 10 years, he has been promoted to the ranks of Jujutsu Division 1. Advertisement. It can be regarded as standing at the top of the Jujutsu world. 10 years have allowed him to become more mature, no longer the cynical kid before. Hearing these people's abuse, although there is no expression on their faces. But my heart is full of contempt for these people. Zishui Shushu sighed and shook his head. Diaresis okay, don't talk about it. I won't mention Sha Yuji's thing in the future. However, the students' thinking must be reversed, otherwise they will all be the same as Gojo Satoru in the future. How should they behave? If it's okay, I'll leave, and it's the business to check things out quickly. After speaking, he stopped staying here. Recently, the principal of Kyoto College has been chatting with him, making him very upset. The words are divided into two ends. Gojo Satoru once again came to the house of everything. But this time it was not for Ryuichi. Cripple, what is that guy doing lately? Not just those people, Gojo Satoru also suspects that the recent cursed spirit incident has something to do with Sha Yuji. But you can't ask him directly, just come to the house of everything to ask Fuhesher. After all, he was basically responsible for Sha Yuji's affairs. Fuhesher raised his eyes and glanced at him, then continued to swipe his phone. This is how you ask for help. Hearing this, Gojo Satoru's mouth lined up with white teeth. Moved to his Li Jiaohao side, put his shoulders on his shoulders, and slowly moved his head towards him. Old hey, does that guy want to make big news lately? A soft voice accompanied the ambiguous posture. A chill rushed from the soles of the feet to the heavenly spirit cover, and there was a cold war in the abdomen. Goose bumps rose up instantly. For a straight man, this kind of attack directed at the soul level is the most unbearable. Boom. With a punch, the documents on the desk were blown away in an instant. Boom. Sound. With a muffled sound, the fist stopped less than 5 centimeters in front of Gojo Satoru. Roll, roll, roll. UTM, stay away from me. Dare to do this again, be careful I kill you. After speaking, there were 2 more sharp blades in his hand. Sensen cold light shines on Gojo Satoru's face, as if to warn him not to make small moves. Relax, rest assured, now I can say, is Sha Yuji planning something lately? Chapter 352. Advertisement. Base. 2 sharp blades pierced the tabletop. Fuhesher returned to his position, keeping his eyes on Gojo Satoru. Murderous intent as if there was nothing running through him. Sha Yu, this kid, has been in the laboratory recently and has no time to do things. If you don't believe me, you can go to him. After speaking, he raised his arm and pointed at the door. Good, good, just kidding, so angry. Get out. Gojo Satoru raised the corners of his mouth when he heard the angry shouts in the room. The appearance of a successful prank. The two have been fighting each other for so long, and this is the first time that they have seen him so angrily. The mood becomes beautiful instantly. But now this matter seems to have no clue. Follow him. As long as there is me, there will be no uncontrollable situation. Single quote. Thinking of this, Gojo Satoru walked towards another street. There is his favorite dessert shop there. Time came to December in a blink of an eye. In the past few months, the number of cursed spirits in Tokyo has reached a new low. The Jujutsu divisions who were originally in Tokyo were basically sent to other places to remove spirits. In general, cursed spirit is decreasing step by step. This is a very good phenomenon. However, this is very bad for the Jujutsu Association. Because until now, they don't know who is cleaning the cursed spirit in this city. Even an unknown city guardian will have at least a reputation. The result is still like a ghost, knowing nothing. Although angry, there is no way. Even Gojo Satoru has gradually paid attention to this matter. Someone really killed these cursed spirits, but that was nothing. I'm afraid that someone will grab these things and make a big move. This is Tokyo after all, and Christmas is approaching. If anyone really releases cursed spirit on Christmas Day, the consequences are really disastrous. So he began to search the city wholeheartedly, not even letting go of the surrounding cities. So, I haven't been to the house of everything recently. This makes Ryuichi and Fuhesher much easier. On this day, 2 people came into the house of everything. Boss, our experiment has made a major breakthrough. Advertisement. This is the latest thing to report an experiment diary. Yaya Okawa looked at Ryuichi who was lying on the chair. Could not help but wipe the cold sweat from his forehead. Over the past 10 years, there has been little progress in experiments. It's really embarrassing to see the boss empty-handed like this. Fortunately, Ryuichi asked Sha Yuji to bring those strange stones to him. Only in this short period of a few months can he make the plan of surrender go further. Thinking of this, Yaya Okawa looked at Ryuichi with gratitude in his eyes. Unexpectedly, the boss was thinking of him even during the time of retreat. In the future, we must work harder to experiment and not let the boss down. Ryuichi looked at it for a moment, and it was originally just a boring move. Unexpectedly, it is now moving in the desired direction. The constructed fake can maintain its shape for a period of time. Although it is not up to the strength of the real imaginary cursed spirit, it is still good to bluff people. Yes, are there any experimental products? There are some. The finished product is not bad, but it's just a small mess. I want to make a big one, but I am afraid that the movement will be too big, and it will be difficult to explain at the time. Ryuichi stretched, and accidentally saw the desk calendar on the desk. Christmas is 1 week away, and I will give you a present at that time. Good boss, it will be lively by then. Stars gleamed in Yaya Okawa's eyes. For researchers like him, the greatest happiness is the day when the research results are shown to the world. Although the experimental product is far from reaching the requirements. But it's easy to take it out and give everyone a benefit. Ryuichi, has something happened in the Jujutsu world recently? Sha Yuji has been busy between the church and the laboratory recently. But I still use Jujutsu when I have time. Recently, I found that the most discussed online is the decrease in cursed spirit activities in Tokyo. This description is too much like the dark cloud time. It's just that there is not such a strong pressure this time. But this is scary. Maybe one day he would sneak out from a dark corner. Click. The beer opens. Fuhesher sat aside, drinking beer. The blind man, suspecting that someone is secretly doing a ghost, has been searching for the whereabouts of cursed spirit recently. But so far, nothing has been discovered. By the way, he also came to you because of this. After speaking, he pointed to Sha Yuji with the finger holding the beer. There was a playful smile on his face. Advertisement. As a master of arch fire, Fuhesher is a professional. Hearing this, Sha Yuji was not angry. Spread his hands out and behaved innocently. It's normal, after all, this kind of approach is indeed quite like me. This is the truth, if he is not a member of the House of Everything. He will definitely collect cursed spirit everywhere. On a certain day in the future, all will be released directly, and the horizontal push will be completed directly. Exterminate all monkeys so that his goal is directly achieved. But now it's different, he has the direction of his heart. That kind of crazy and ineffective action is too lazy to try. It's boring. Seeing that the fire did not rise, Fuhesher rolled his eyes. Obviously he hasn't emerged from the shadow of Gojo Satoru yet. By the way, boss, do you still have the stones Sha Yuji got to the laboratory? If yes, give more. Yaya Okawa rubbed his hands. 10 years' time has been carved on his face. Such a middle-aged man's expression is really embarrassing. No, I'll have to wait until I see that guy again. Hearing the boss's reply, Yaya Agawa smiled again. These stones have the ability to absorb curse power. As long as the quantity is large enough, he can extract that substance from it. This kind of thing can greatly shorten the experimental process. If you find the corresponding stone, you can even create a real imaginary cursed spirit now. Sha Yuji showed a wry smile on his face when he saw Yaya Dahe's appearance. Since he took the stone to the laboratory, this guy borrowed things for various reasons. The most annoying thing is that you can't pay for it if you don't borrow it. In the past few months, I have just followed Yaya Okawa to the imaginary cursed spirit. His goal has basically not advanced. Well, let's go first, and we will come again before Christmas. After getting their own answer, the two of them didn't wait much. On the way back, I can't help but imagine what kind of surprises this Christmas will bring to everyone. Haisher came to Ryuichi's table. Are you going to announce the existence of cursed spirit to the world now? Are you too impatient? The existence of cursed spirit has been hidden from ordinary people for thousands of years. If this lets the world know that this kind of thing exists, the sensation that caused was no less than a tsunami. I will give you a gift. As for what they think, it doesn't matter to me. Chapter 353. Advertisement. In a blink of an eye, time came the day before Christmas. Pray for her mother to stand on the top floor of the building. Looking at the pedestrian-like ants below, there was a hint of excitement in his muddy eyes. After all, not everyone has the opportunity to summon thousands of curses, spirits. Today she will achieve it. Behind her, the ground on the roof is full of scrolls. They are connected by a wire. The final paragraph was held in the hands of the begging mother. These wires are made of special materials and are generally used when making the cursed tool. They are the strongest in transmitting spell power. Grandson, watch it with me, this kind of grand scene may not be seen in the future. The young man behind him did not reply, but hung the scroll on the rooftop. Let them hang in the air, lest they be summoned for a while, all together. Just wait for a signal, we will start as soon as the signal arrives. At this time, she recalled when she reported the matter to her boss. She was not punished unexpectedly, instead she was asked to complete this task as much as possible while ensuring the safety of her life. I don't know what medicine the boss sells in the gourd. Single quote. At the same time, Jujutsu High School. Jewish, have you felt something wrong recently? Okatsu Jewish heard the words, closed his eyes and felt it, then shook his head. No feeling, teacher, what happened? Gojo Satoru frowned. He always felt that something big would happen recently. At his level, intuition can already be used as a prediction. Okatsu Jewish is now a bit of a super jujutsu teacher. But intuition only stays in battle. A major event may happen recently. Everyone must be prepared. Hearing Gojo Satoru's solemn instructions, several people, Zen and Maki, couldn't help holding their weapons. Haha, don't be so nervous, although it is a major event, it is only for ordinary people. Everyone. Cut. Obviously, they are also used to the character of their teacher. Rumble. The ground began to vibrate violently. On the street not far from the college, a huge cursed spirit that has been more than 4 meters high appeared. The whole body is snow white, with many folds, which look like wrinkles, and these wrinkles are set off with terrifying blood basin mouths. They are rushing towards the pedestrians on the side of the road. Many people still don't know that they have already died, and they are still wondering if it is an earthquake. Seeing that the situation was bad, the Okatsu Jewish people quickly rushed in the direction of cursed spirit. Advertisement. Although Gojo Satoru's eyes were blindfolded, it did not affect his perception of the surrounding environment. Suddenly there are so many cursed spirits, it seems that someone is actually controlling everything behind them. It turned out that several streets around Jujutsu College were occupied by cursed spirit and were rushing towards the city center at a strange speed. Rumble. The next second, a roar came from the other direction. Base. Gojo Satoru's figure disappeared. At the same time as cursed spirit was eliminated, Yaga Masamiki had been called to explain the current situation. And asked him to notify the Jujutsu Association, let them send additional manpower to eliminate cursed spirit as quickly as possible. Although things are arranged here, the situation is still not optimistic. Recently, the cursed spirit in Tokyo has dropped sharply, and most of the Jujutsu divisions have been assigned to other places. It is still very difficult to gather a group of Jujutsu teachers quickly. Tweeted. Boom. A powerful spell rose from the ground and exploded in the sky. Gorgeous colors are mapped in the eyes of every Jujutsu teacher in Tokyo. Oops. A big trouble. It turned out that after Okatsu Yuta killed the second-level cursed spirit, they didn't check it. This curse power rushed directly into the sky as if it had been instructed. Now even fools know that there will be more cursed spirits that need to be eliminated in a while. On the other side of the city, pray for my mother to see the signal. A cruel smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Muttered to passers-by who did not know the situation next year. To blame your bad luck. The black magic power emerged, and it was transmitted to each reel in an instant with the wire. Bang bang bang. All the scrolls were unwound at the same time, and the strong smoke instantly wrapped the entire roof, making it impossible to see the situation inside. Prey Mother and her grandson have already left the building at this time. Hiding silently, ready to enjoy the show up close. Quack quack. Lululu. In a short while, cursed spirits of various shapes fell from the sky. Many big pits appeared on the ground instantly. What's going on? Before he finished speaking, half of his body disappeared. Where's the person? Where's the person? A good person, why suddenly there is half left? Seeking flowers. What's going on? Have you met a ghost? Run. Aliens have invaded the Earth. Advertisement. ITM really. Base. Another person has only half of his body left. If it was just an escape before. So now is reincarnation. Everyone only hates their parents for not giving themselves 2 extra legs. He even wanted to degenerate into an animal on all fours just to get out of here quickly. While everyone was escaping for their lives, many people died strangely in everyone's horrified eyes. The shadow of death covers the hearts of every pedestrian. Is it going to die today? Single quote. The words are divided into 2 ends. Okatsu Yuta has separated. A few of them have the lowest level of Jujutsu division, and together they will only reduce the efficiency of exclusion. All things house. Fuhesher looked at the chaotic crowd outside and couldn't help but find it interesting. Ryuichi, shall we not join in the fun? Said to join in the fun. In fact, itching hands, I want to kill a few cursed spirit to play. If you want to go, I'm not interested in these. Aren't you curious who is leading such a big movement? Ryuichi changed his posture and continued to lie down, with the sunlight outside through the window, just shining on him. Now he no longer needs to run around to make money like he used to. As a result, most of the online tasks are in the field. The money for medicine and the money for selling intelligence were enough to make him live a carefree life for a long time. Although he wants to rest mentally, his body does not allow it, but pure exercise can no longer suppress the inner mania. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Fuhesher still couldn't hold back, and left the house of everything alone. Therefore, all kinds of unwillingnesses when it comes to going to another place. Ryuichi is the boss and can't do it. Even if he does it, he can't beat it. Not curious, you can go if you want, and I won't stop you. Although he is a combat freak, he is not a masochist. Go back and ask for money from Gojo Satoru, I believe he is willing to pay for it. Having worked with Ryuichi for so long, I have not learned anything else, but I have learned a lot about enjoying life. Now I can finally vent my emotions, there is no reason to give up. It has been suffocated recently. The decrease of cursed spirit here has led to the decrease of Jujutsu division here. It is still comfortable to bask in the sun in winter. I don't know if there are a few that can be beaten. 2. Chapter 354. Advertisement. Okatsu Yuta followed the assigned route. Boom. Not far ahead, a school collapsed. Upon seeing this, Okatsu Yuta did not dare to waste time. Struggling with both legs. Base. The whole person is like an arrow from the string, rushing towards the school. There were even afterimages wherever he went. What's the situation? Okatsu Yuta stood inside the campus and found no signs of human activity. It looks more like an abandoned campus. The sky suddenly darkened, and a dim black barrier wrapped the entire campus. Haha, see what I caught. An old voice came into Okatsu Yuta's ears. Following the sound, an old man in a white samurai costume stood aside, staring at him with a smile on his face. There was an emotion he was very unaccustomed to in those cloudy eyes. Greedy. Yes, 5 or 7, the old man looked at Okatsu Yuta greedily. It's like looking at a valuable antique. Okatsu Yuta was uncomfortable with this look, but felt that the old man was not a cursed spirit, and asked with a frown. You made the above barrier. Get me out quickly. Ha ha ha, I will definitely let you out, but it must not be now. Whoosh whoosh. Bang bang bang. The scroll was thrown, and 3 huge cursed spirits appeared on the campus. They look like a giant centipede, but their body is covered with black tentacles, and they will swing back and forth with the opening and closing of their mouths. The other is a 4-meter-high humanoid cursed spirit, covered with mucus. As time goes by, the mucus will fall to the ground, and plumes of white smoke will appear. The last one looked like a giant eagle, and his body was full of unknown black. The feathers on his body were like sharp blades. Under the sunlight, it gave out a faint black light. The 3 cursed spirits are not low level, just look at them by feeling, at least they are 2nd level cursed spirits. The 3 cursed spirits did not immediately attack after they appeared, but stared at the old man beside them desperately. Their eyes are full of anger. I can't wait to tear him up right away. Ha, Gululu. ZZZ. 3 cursed spirits attack at the same time. Just see that the old man is not in a hurry or slow. He took out a jar of things from his arms and sprinkled it twice on himself. This allowed the action to be completed, and the attacks of the 3 cursed spirits followed one after another. Rumble. A huge crater with a diameter of about 7 meters appeared on the ground due to the attack of 3 cursed spirits. Advertisement. After that, they left the old man dead or alive. Pounced towards Okatsu Yuta. 1 in the sky, 1 in the ground, and 1 in the ground. Don't leave him a chance to survive. Young man, go for it. Well, at this moment, the old man's voice was uploaded from the teaching building not far away. There were no scars on the whole person, and even the white clothes were not dirty. It looked like he had just come out of the bathing center. Seeing this, Okatsu Yuta frowned. At this time, he is not very good at controlling the energy in the body. It is unlikely that you want to receive 3 waves of attacks at the same time. Since there is no way to solve the cursed spirit, then solve the cursed spirit behind the scenes. Single quote. Bang. There was another afterimage, and Okatsu Yuta flew towards the old man. Hold the back of the knife and prepare to kill with 1 blow. Roar. Bang. There was a loud roar, and a roar came from the ground. The centipede cursed spirit broke ground, and a huge mouth comparable to the size of a rebound appeared at Okatsu Yuta's feet. Before he came to him, the huge stench filled his face. The bad smell made Okatsu Yuta pinch his nose. A momentary body left the place, making the centipede rush into the air. However, it did not give up, but waited for the other 2 cursed spirits to return. Ha, Gululu. The 3 cursed spirits met again and attacked again in the same way as before. It seems that Okatsu Yuta is in danger. 2 huge arms appeared behind him. Quack quack. Not long after, that ugly head also emerged. Kibin Rika didn't even reveal the whole picture, and the 3 cursed spirits ran backwards like 3 little chickens, hiding in the corner shivering. Seeing this situation, the old man's original joy gradually disappeared. Unexpectedly, this cursed spirit on him is so terrifying, at least special. Buzzing. The black light flickered, as if urging something. The old man no longer hesitated. The curse power on his body gathered towards the 3 cursed spirits as if they didn't need money. This made cursed spirit, who had been stunned, gradually strengthened, and the expression on his face gradually became hideous. Even their figures have become more swollen at this moment. At the end of the transfer of the magic power, the 3 cursed spirits rushed towards Okatsu Yuta. Bang. Snapped. Advertisement. Boom. 1 punch, 1 palm, 1 beat. Kibin Rika is completely exposed to the barrier. The ugly and rough appearance made the old man feel a little scary. It seems that he felt the threat of Kimoto Rika. The black light from the old man's chest cast over the clothes and directly shone outside. Under the ray of light, the 3 cursed spirits started to merge with each other. Unexpectedly, the cursed spirit on you is quite powerful. However, you have no chance. The old man looked at Okatsu Yuta sarcastically, although the strength of cursed spirit was a bit beyond his expectation. But it's just a little troublesome. However, Okatsu Yuta ignored the threat ahead. Instead, he muttered to Rika. Lixiong, thank you for your company for so many years, I will give everything to Lixiong, let's die together. Okatsu Yuta's voice is very soft, but his attitude is very firm. Quack quack. Kimoto Rika trembled all over when hearing his words. The eyes on his head looked at Okatsu Yuta incredulously. Bang. Pung pung. Rika's body grew bigger again. The curse power that was originally terrifying has now become even more bottomless. Ouch. The powerful curse power is concentrated in the mouth, as if waiting for the opportunity to launch. Boy, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Heihu Yongren. I am a very rare sealer. With the sound of the sound, 7 or 8 open scrolls appeared beside the two, nothing on them. Boom. Floating to Okatsu Judia, hugging him lightly, and said to him, "The past few years with you have been my happiest time." A strong ray of light poured straight away, and the 3 cursed spirits, which were still slowly fusing, were vulnerable to this energy. They instantly turned into flying ash and disappeared between the sky and the earth. Kibin Rika turned into a lovely girl. Heihu Yongren sealed the seal in the air, and a strange purple light radiated from him and passed to these empty scrolls. Yuto Hedo was also affected by the attack, and only half of his body remained. Goodbye, Jewish. Okatsu Yuta and Kimoto Rika were enveloped in this purple energy. Boom. Explode. Be obediently sealed by me. Lixiong. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Kimoto Rika is also ready here. The surrounding scrolls were instantly destroyed, and Yuto Hedo looked at the situation in front of him with a dull expression. Call. If the user dies, the enchantment will disperse automatically. Fingers turned into fists, and the purple energy resembled a giant net, slowly shrinking towards the middle. Chapter 355. Advertisement. Okatsu watched Rika disappear sluggishly. Tick tick tick. Tears slipped from his cheeks silently. Memories of the past come to mind, and many things are finally explained at this moment. I am so silly. It turns out that the root of everything is because of me. Without my words, Rika would not have become like this. I even questioned why she would not let me go even if she died. After a long time, Okatsu Jewish wakes up from the memory. The city is now being destroyed by cursed spirit. I can't keep quiet like this. He raised his head and rubbed his sore eyes. Subconsciously looked at the Heihu Yongren. What about people? Okatsu's Jewish pupils shrank sharply. The body that was lying on the ground has disappeared at this moment. Someone took advantage of his sad time to steal the body. Be sure to report this to Teacher Gojo when you go back. Boom. The huge roar pulled him back to reality. Don't dare to waste time anymore. Okatsu Judas held a long knife in his hand, his eyes gradually becoming sharp. The aura on his body is also very different from before. At this moment, the young eagle broke free from the shackles of the earth and can fly freely in the blue sky. Base. Boom. The strong air current overturned the surrounding soil. A big hole suddenly appeared on the ground. His figure disappeared. The situation in the city has attracted high-level attention. While giving the Jujutsu Association a test pressure, let them know the cursed spirit quickly. While contacting the news media, hold a press conference. I urge everyone not to go out this Christmas. Shock. There was such a panic on the streets on Christmas Eve. Today, many people were walking on the street, and suddenly their heads were different. The reason turned out to be. Do you know, what happened today has actually been predicted by the ancients. Today it turned out to be. All kinds of news, driven by major media, into the mobile phone of every citizen. At this moment, whether you are watching a mobile phone or TV, even if you are listening to the radio. This kind of news will spread to your ears. After several rounds of crazy information bombing. 5 hours later, there are really fewer people on the streets of Tokyo. However, there are still some people who do not believe in evil and deliberately stroll on the street. Advertisement. For this group of people, let them fend for themselves. Adults always have to pay for their willfulness, don't they? At this moment, Jujutsu teachers who were closer to here came one after another. Has joined the army to eliminate cursed spirit. Unexpectedly, after so long, we can still fight together like this. Yes, 10 years have passed in a flash, and we are all middle-aged. I don't know if I can take a good rest after this time. It is really disgusting to face various cursed spirits every day. Fortunately, I quite like the psychiatrist who counseled me. Not good. Run. What? There was a roar in the sky, and a cursed spirit resembling a baboon fell from the sky. Fortunately, they responded in a timely manner, otherwise they would be trampled to death. This is. Before the words fell, a sharp blade fell from the sky. Instantly pierced the cursed spirit in half. Then, a phantom flashed by. The sharp blade on the ground disappeared. Is that Gojo Satoru just now? No, Gojo Satoru shouldn't be so low-key. That phantom is naturally not Gojo Satoru. It was Okatsu Jewish passing by. At this time he was running towards the city center. A large number of cursed spirits gathered there at this moment. He just can help. On a street 10 kilometers away from the city center. 2 figures stood on the side of the road, looking at a machine in the middle. Do you really want to do this? Of course it's true. Otherwise, what am I doing here? Sha Yuji looked at Yaya helplessly, recalling the appearance of the cursed spirit in the laboratory. Can't help but feel a chill in my heart. If the boss blames you, don't think I will speak for you. Hearing this, Yaya Okawa's eyes flickered. After all, this has not been approved by the boss. He was also very worried. But I have done everything, and now I have no time even if I regret it, right? That's it, it's too late to regret now. Maybe the boss doesn't care about such small things at all. After speaking, Yaya Okawa took out a tube of liquid from his arms. Snapped. Turn on the machine and pour the liquid slowly. Set the time to 0 hour and 0 minutes. There is no turning back arrow. It's done. Downtown, Okatsu Jewish is long overdue. Advertisement. Join the team that killed Cursed Spirit. How is the situation now? Although there are many cursed spirits, they are all low-level cursed spirits. No harm will be done to them. Call. Inamaki Toge sees Okatsu Jewish arrival. A backflip and withdrew from the combat circle. Staring at him, he made a gesture with his hand. Not long after, a loudspeaker appeared in Inamaki Toge's hands. Several people saw this situation and looked at each other. Whoosh whoosh, fleeing the fighting zone one after another. Explode. Boom boom boom. With the spread of the horn, the terrifying curse power formed a terrifying sound wave. The covered cursed spirit exploded. After a while, the cursed spirit in this area disappeared. Seeing that the effect is not bad, Inamaki Toge nodded. He took the throat medicine out of his pocket and drank it. The sentence just consumed too much curse power, and his throat became a bit dry and astringent. Where is Gojo Satoru? I don't have time to care about him, that guy has no turn to care about, take a break, and go to the next place right away. Looking at the situation on the street, there were already many huge pits in the originally wide street. Obviously it should be a happy holiday, but it turned out to be like this. Okay, kill cursed spirit first. 3 hours passed, and the time came to 11. The battle in the city has not disappeared. The roar can be heard everywhere. The two stopped talking. The time is almost here. Regardless of whether this statement is true or false, the danger outside is real. Officials said this was a KB attack, and they are now fighting. Alright, it's 0 o'clock in 10 minutes. That would be a shame. All the residents hid in their homes, listening to the outside sounds in horror. Yaya Okawa was even more nervous, and the white clothes on her body had been kneaded in a disfigured manner. Beep, 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 beep. It's 12 o'clock. I must take a break in peacetime. For fear of being injured by a grenade. In these few hours, Shayuji has already received no less than 10 cursed spirits. These last 10 minutes are like a year. Except for those who didn't listen to persuasion and went out for accidents, those who were at home didn't even dare to lean in to join in the fun. At this moment, Shayuji and Yayada crouched beside the machine. Chapter 356. Advertisement. Boom 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 boom. The machine began to vibrate constantly, and from time to time a few wisps of hot air were exhaled. Bang! The machine exploded. A golden light rushed into the sky and into the clouds like fireworks. Yep. Gojo Satoru seemed to feel something, and looked up to the sky. Suddenly feel above the clouds. An inexplicable curse power gathered on it. Something seems to be brewing. Is it what the cursed spirit is about to be born? Single quote. Although he noticed the sky's vision, he didn't have time to observe at this moment. There are too many cursed spirits on the ground. At present, it is roughly estimated that there are thousands of them. There is no way to kill indiscriminately, and the speed is much slower. Fortunately, this time cursed spirit is mainly low level. Although it is troublesome to clean up, it won't hurt too much. As for the ordinary people who died, then I just hope that they will have better luck next time. Boom. Trample the cursed spirit on one side with your feet. Go to the place where the golden light lifted off and see what happened there. At the same time, what's the situation? Why hasn't there been any movement for so long? I don't know. After all, this is an experiment. The time deviation is normal. Rumble, rumble. There is a golden light in the sky. The originally dark sky was instantly lit up. The unsuspecting citizens thought it was dawn now. What's the situation? What is that? Super cursed spirit. Ah, it's so dazzling. What the hell is it? What a terrifying curse. We are not going to die here. Look at those cursed spirits. They are all scared. Will not really come out with a super cursed spirit. Gojo Satoru stopped and looked at the golden light in the sky. Brows furrowed. Through his perception, this golden light is not composed of pure curse power. Kind of familiar. At this moment, in the houses around him. Mom, look, the sky is so bright. Hurry up and go to bed, what are you talking about? It's early in the morning, how could the sky be bright? Wow, the window opens. A mother and son lay on the window, staring blankly at the golden sky. Not good. Single quote. A special cursed spirit that ordinary people can see has appeared again, so I need to hurry up and confirm the situation. Single quote. Base. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru's figure disappeared. The situation of the mother and child appeared everywhere in the city. A large number of ordinary people saw the vision of the sky. This made the Jujutsu master who was removing spirits very frightened. What the hell is this? Can so many ordinary people see it? Is the world going to change? On the other side of the city. Shayuji and Yayada looked up to the sky. Now this situation has been out of the control of the two. In fact, why is it so big? Even the surrounding cities should have been seen, right? I don't know. The last time Susanoo didn't react so much. Hurry up. Gojo Satoru will be here in a while. Let me take good things. The two packed their things, and Ryuichi summoned a cursed spirit. The two of them straddled up, and appeared 100 meters away. After 3 seconds, the two of them could not be seen. Base. A figure appeared here. Gojo Satoru felt the movement of cursed spirit. Ready to chase. Click, click. Several golden lightning bolts split in the air. Above the surrounding clouds, golden thunder surged. Call. Like a hurricane, it blows away the surrounding clouds. A golden figure gradually fell from the air. The dark sky is like daylight at this moment. Everyone who saw this figure couldn't help but think of 2 words. Amaterasu. FK. Amaterasu. Am I dreaming? Amaterasu has changed to cursed spirit. It's playing. It's all over. Amaterasu God. Something is wrong. The momentum is quite strong, but this curse power reserve is not very similar. Huh, you said so, it seems to be true, and there is something wrong with this face. It seems to be a man. Yes, and I don't know why this face is so familiar, but I just can't remember it. After being shocked, Master Jujutsu discovered that there was something wrong with this Amaterasu. It is too far away from what they know about Amaterasu. And the strength is also very inconsistent. At most, it is a hypothetical first-level cursed spirit. If it is really Amaterasu, it would be too bad. Facing such miracles, ordinary citizens will not be as calm as they are. They took out their phones and recorded this scene. Christmas, it's great to meet Amaterasu to send blessings. Single quote. With text, post to your own social platform. After that, regardless of the phone, he began to make a wish to the sky. Soon after, Amaterasu appeared in front of everyone. The huge body floats above the city. Advertisement. It looks so scary. Pickled Gao Kai. Inamaki Toge reminded him that this figure puts too much pressure on him. The level should be at least 1 up. He can't handle it now. Senior Guma, don't worry, this figure shouldn't hurt us. After speaking, he did not explain why. Just looking at the figure in the sky silently. On the other side of the city, Gojo Satoru stared at the sky blankly. The black cloth swayed in his hands. Click, click. Frequent flashes. A video was recorded by the way. Even because of the bad angle, I changed the position specially. Then looked at the photos in the phone. The corners of his mouth raised, and a wicked smile appeared on his face. At this time, 2 people on the road stopped to escape. Staring blankly at the figure in the sky. Diaresis when you were making, did you think about the current situation? Think of a little bit, but never thought it would be such a sensation. According to the experimental data, this cursed spirit shouldn't disappear, right? Ryuichi suddenly thought of this terrible question. If this thing has always existed, they don't seem to have a better way to deal with it. No, although the curse power is not leaked, it just prevents him from disappearing naturally. As long as this guy makes a single shot and uses up the curse power in his body, it will disappear with Li Jiao Jiao. After all, I haven't worked out how to let it absorb external curse power on its own. Hearing the explanation, Ryuichi couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Wrong. Single quote. The noise is so loud. That guy Ryuichi will definitely know. By the time, thinking of this, Ryuichi shrank her neck. For some reason, I feel the wind today is extremely cool. Somewhere in the city. Boom. A figure hit the fence. Shit. 2 sharp blades pierced along. The figure disappeared. Click. Guru. Sweat a little bit, drink some wine, comfortable. Since the beginning, it has been ringing non-stop. Could it be possible that there is a super cursed spirit? Fuhesher took the weapon back, wanting to see what happened in the city. As a result, a golden figure was reflected in his pupils. Looking at the familiar face. Zenin Ryuichi. Chapter 357. Advertisement. Fuhesher can guess Ryuichi's expression tomorrow. Can't help taking out his mobile phone. I took a few photos against the sky. Haha, those 2 guys are so courageous, I hope they can survive tomorrow. Put the phone in your pocket and prepare to go home to sleep. Enough for today. As for how to deal with this thing in the sky, that's not his business. Jung. A roar. The scared jujutsu teachers stand up. Holding their weapons one after another, staring at it. Whether it is really Amaterasu or not. Just this huge body is not what they can handle. The figure slowly opened his eyes. Look at the city under your feet. There was a hint of compassion on that handsome face. It seems to be uncomfortable for the humans in the city who were torn by cursed spirit. Slowly raised his hands from his side. The light in the sky increased again. Nourish. Several white rays of light lost to the ground. On the contrary, several cursed spirits, irrespective of their level, were all destroyed. Over time, countless pure white rays of light lost on the city streets. The troublesome cursed spirit was wiped out by the light in this way. There is no fly ash left. After half an hour, the cursed spirit of the entire city was cleaned up. At this point, it seems to be halfway through time. The body began to become transparent. Began to slowly fade out of people's sight. The sky turned back to darkness, and everyone was only reacting now. It's still wee hours. I rely on. Amaterasu made it. Whether it is true or false. Now, it is Amaterasu. Who dares to lift the bar? I will beat anyone. Awesome. I thought it would take a long time to play, but I didn't expect it to end so soon. There is even time for a Christmas. Have you noticed that only the cursed spirit died, and the buildings that were illuminated are nothing at all? FK. Is this the gap between humans and gods? The Jujutsu teachers are all discussing the matter of Amaterasu. After all, I can meet this legendary god once in my life. That is really a blessing from 8 lifetimes of cultivation. Okatsu Jewish was surrounded by Zenin Maki. Although there was no questioning, their curious eyes told him all the time. Advertisement. If you don't make things clear, today will be hard to get through. Helpless, I can only tell everything about the House of Everything. There was an unspeakable expression on Zenin Maki's face. When Inamaki Toge listened to Okatsu's Jewish narrative, there was a little hope in his bright eyes. Maybe the owner of the House of Everything can help him deal with the side effects of the spell. Single quote. Panda is shocked, because the name is often spoken by Yaga Masamiki. Over time, the name was printed deep in his core. Okatsu Jews looked at several people with different expressions, with helpless expressions on their faces. Let's go, even if it's over safely tonight. The other end of the city. Gojo Satoru put down the phone contentedly. Because the recording time was too long, I almost shut down because of no power in the middle. Fortunately, he carried a power bank with him. Otherwise, such a wonderful scene will be missed. You know, that guy Ryuichi doesn't have a compassionate expression on his face. Recording is earning, although it is not clear what this, Amaterasu, is about. However, when it's dawn, go to the House of Everything, you should all understand. I don't know if Ryuichi is asleep now. If I let him know about this, would he just hammer that person to death? Single quote. Thinking of this, Gojo Satoru wrapped the strip of cloth around his head. Base. Disappeared in place. Tonight is destined to be a sleepless night. It's the 25th. On the social platforms, the topic of Amaterasu directly jumped to the top. Various videos and photos appeared on the internet. The same time, the same scene, different locations. All foreshadowed that everything that happened was true. FK. Is there really a god in the world? Yes, I have met Susanoo before. But that was 10 years ago. I am also impressed, but it seems to disappear after missing a face. FK. I found the video of Susanoo based on the description above. It turns out that a miracle appeared 10 years ago. That Susanoo is okay. Don't you think something is wrong with this Amaterasu? How come he is a man? Both men and women. There was a miracle yesterday. Can there be fakes? Don't say. The great god looks pretty handsome. If I were a woman, I might fall in love with him. The discussion was so enthusiastic that it even suppressed the official announcement of the time of yesterday's attack. This is also good, using this matter to attract the attention of the masses. Use money to settle the family of the deceased. This matter will not be over. At this time, the House of Everything. Sha Yuji and Yaya Okawa stood at Ryuichi's table with innocent faces. He lowered his head, not daring to look at Ryuichi. I'm afraid that a person will die without a place to be buried. Advertisement. Do you have nothing to explain about this matter? Bang. A mobile phone was thrown under the noses of the two of them. Above it shows a close-up of the face of Amaterasu, great god. The image is clear, as if it were taken in person. Unexpectedly, among night owls, there is such a great photographer. Boss, I just want to do it, even if it is an experiment, it is a descent. Then I must find a way to make the image of this god according to my ideas. I just didn't expect to make such a big noise. Ryuichi did not answer, and turned his attention to the other side. Sha Yuji, how about you? Being named by name, his body couldn't help but tremble. I didn't think much about it at the time, but I thought he was right, so I agreed. Bump. Tap your finger on the desktop. Ripples appeared on the full-length mirror by the room. Go in and stay for a day. The two knew that everything in the mirror world was determined by Ryuichi. But now there is no way to escape, only bite the bullet and go in. With the entry of the two, the mirror surface regained its calmness. Ryuichi, is it too cruel? Fuhesher looked at the phone and couldn't hide the smile on his face. Hearing that, a trace of helplessness appeared in Ryuichi's bright eyes. This should be the first time this mood has appeared. Ask them to do an experiment, and it turned out like this. Boss, we have one thing we want to ask you for help. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Why don't you go in for them? 5 million. Now the whole Fusang remembers this face. Boom boom boom. Mandarin fish, marinated roe. Kelp. Even the advice given by Gojo Satoru is just to adapt slowly. When Inamaki Toge heard the offer, his eyes lighted up. Waiting for the day when I can control the spell. Because of the curse, he dared not speak much since he was a child. Joke. Does this boss really have a solution? Let him be punished for those two guys. I am afraid that an unintentional remark will hurt others. Okatsu Jewish and Inamaki Toge walked in. Forget it, you should be punished if you do something wrong. Chapter 358. Advertisement. Okatsu Jewish heard the excited voice of Inamaki Toge. A gentle smile appeared on his face. Okay, 5 million transactions. Just when he was about to swipe his card, Inamaki Toge stopped him. Dried Benito. He took out a card from his arms. I swiped the money, although most of Jujutsu's division spirits are public welfare. But almost every time Gojo Satoru goes out on a mission, Gojo Satoru will give them the money to replenish them. After all, everyone is human, yes, people need to spend money. Inamaki Toge usually doesn't have much entertainment. The money was saved naturally. After paying the money, Inamaki Toge looked at Zenin Ryuichi with excitement. Although I was very anxious, there was no trace of expression on his face. He didn't want to put too much pressure on the boss, nor did he want to give himself too much hope. The way Ryuichi looked at him, the corners of his mouth slightly twitched. Mantra, this Jujutsu, is just a low-profile version. And Inamaki Toge does not yet have the ability to vacate Jujutsu's use. Often hurt others when you are not careful. It may be difficult for others to solve this solution. But for him, it was easy. Snapped. He stretched out his hand and snapped his fingers. On the table in front of Inamaki Toge, a glass of red wine slowly emerged. If you drink it, the side effects of the spell will be eliminated. Inamaki Toge looked at the red wine in front of him with shock. I couldn't believe it for a while. Such a troublesome thing can be solved with just a glass of red wine. Pick up the wine glass and look carefully at the liquid inside. Suddenly, a faint face appeared on the wall of the wine glass. Guru. Seeing this, Inamaki Toge couldn't help swallowing. Looking back at Okatsu Kosher, found that he was looking at himself with a serious face, and still beckoning him to drink. Close your eyes. Look up. Dry. All the actions were done in one go. Bang bang. Boom. Inamaki Toge stared at the desktop. Covering his chest with his right hand, he placed the wine glass in his hand on the table with difficulty. Ah, comfortable. Unprecedented comfort. This is a kind of comfort that goes directly to the soul through the body. The cool liquid radiates directly throughout the body along the esophagus. Advertisement. Then gathered around the heart. This refreshing feeling made him scream. Although he couldn't see his own changes, Okatsu Jews could see clearly. The spell in Inamaki Toge's mouth is slowly disappearing. Great. The spell in my mouth is disappearing. Hearing this, Inamaki Toge couldn't feel comfortable. He rushed directly to the mirror. Looked at the people inside blankly. The curse mark on the mouth really disappeared. Caviar. Marinated caviar. Because he was too excited, he subconsciously called out the pickled roe. Can I really speak normally? Okatsu Jude nodded frantically on the side, and motioned that he could try to say something else. After all, this sentence has no meaning and cannot be regarded as a cure. Fall. Inamaki Toge said 2 words cautiously. But nothing happened inside the house. Fall down. Explode. Back. Forward. Over time, the two have fully confirmed the fact that the side effects disappeared. Then, can your jujutsu still be used? Inamaki Toge nodded. He could feel that his jujutsu had not disappeared. That's why he was so careful just now. Close your eyes and feel the operation of the mantra. The previous spell floated on his face again. Call. Confirmation is complete. Now, he is also a normal person. Thank you, Boss Ryuichi. You pay, I do things for mutual benefit. This is one of Ryuichi's tenets. Yo, what are my 2 students doing here? Do you want to see Master Amaterasu with your own eyes? Come here, I still have photos here. Let's watch them together, that's right. Okatsu Kosher and Inamaki Toge got goosebumps instantly. Doda's cold sweat kept dripping. Teacher, no need, our business is done. Yes, teacher, we still have something to do. You and Ryuichi boss will talk first, and we will come back when we have time. After speaking, the 2 ran away in a hurry. It was as if there was a scourge chasing after him. Are you here to fight today? There was a dangerous light in Ryuichi's long, narrow eyes. No, I'm not here to fight, I'm here to chat. Even so, the phone was instantly placed in front of Ryuichi. Click. The sound rang. Advertisement. I said that as long as I don't want to, no one can take pictures of me. Gojo Satoru looked at the photo on the phone with a smile on his face. So, the Amaterasu in the early morning, isn't it you? He is not idle and bored taking pictures and playing, but to make a final confirmation. Then you know what happened yesterday, to the entire Jujutsu community. No, how much impact did it have on the entire society? Seeking flowers. Gojo Satoru sat opposite Ryuichi, leaning on the chair like him. A lazy look. What's the impact? It's not the first time it has appeared. And won't you also suppress the influence of the dead? Ryuichi glanced at him, wanting to use this to deceive him. Too young. Haha, I'm just bringing their words to you, don't be so excited. With such a big movement yesterday, don't you have anything to say to me? For example, why does that cursed spirit look the same as you? Or, why would the cursed spirit be seen by ordinary people? Ryuichi heard the question and glanced to the side. Just ask how good it is. Hearing this answer, people familiar with Ryuichi know that this question will not be answered from here. Gojo Satoru is not disappointed, because he doesn't care about these issues so much. Instead, Ryuichi, look, yesterday you showed such a sad expression. Do you know what my heart was like when I saw this expression? It was a surprise. Ha ha ha, would you like to see it? Ryuichi looked plainly at Gojo Satoru, who was playing treasure in front of him. For some reason, I suddenly wanted to test full hand's ability on him. For example, transfer others. I don't know why. Gojo Satoru, who was still playing treasures, fought a cold battle in an instant. He seemed to be shrouded by a powerful malice. Well, you rest first, I have something to do, so I'll leave. Bye bye. The annoying Gojo Satoru is finally gone. Speaking of it, I blame the two guys in the mirror. The world in the mirror. Two figures were tied in the crater. Hot lava flows by the two of them. Although the heat is astonishing, there are no scars on the two of them. Sha Yuji, when do you think we can go out? I still need to go back and file this experiment into a report. Sha Yuji rolled his eyes and said helplessly, it's not all because of your bad taste. Otherwise, will the two of us be tied here? Didn't you also acquiesce? Why did you push the responsibility to me? Wait, do you think the temperature around you is getting higher? Ah, my hair. Listening to Dahei's screams, Sha Yuji couldn't help feeling a hot over his head. His hair seems to be burning. Soil. Chapter 359. Advertisement. Time has come to New Year's Day. The streets are decorated with lights and festoons to welcome the arrival of the new year. However, the hottest topic on the internet is still whether Amaterasu exists. And more people have converted their perspective to its appearance. After all, what was recorded in ancient books was very different from what they had seen. What's more, they drew its appearance to match their imagination. The topic of Amaterasu in modern times has also been put on the hot search. Anyone who knows Zenin Ryuichi will be surprised that the two are too similar. For a time, the name Zenin Ryuichi became popular again in the Jujutsu world. It deepens the Jujutsu teacher's guesses about Zenin Ryuichi's identity. Reincarnation of Amaterasu. Otherwise, how could you be so young and possess such a powerful strength? Ryuichi wears sunglasses whenever he goes out. Otherwise, you will be watched by a group of people. This feeling made him very upset. Every 5 or 7 at this time, I want to capture those two guys in the mirror world, let them experience the enthusiasm of magma again. This day, everything is in the house. Amaterasu, hello, are you busy lately? Gojo Satoru's playful voice reached the office. Did not hear a reply. He was also welcome and sat directly across from Ryuichi. I am here to thank you for Inamaki Toge. After speaking normally, his whole person is completely renewed. It seems that communication is still his heart disease. In addition, Okatsuju sounded what I said before, the world is so big, he followed my friend on a trip. Other circumstances are quite normal. Ryuichi looked at him in surprise, why are you telling me this? Aren't you my boss? Students like me will be the mainstay of the house of everything in the future. If you don't tell me, who would say that? Gojo Satoru looked serious and almost believed what he said. By the way, I don't know why recently, the number of cursed spirits appearing in the city is gradually decreasing than before. But their level has increased. Are you saying that someone is making a ghost again? Since he and Ryuichi were born, the cursed spirit level in the world began to gradually increase. It's like the emergence of hunters, forcing prey to evolve. The two of them took the cursed spirit to a new level. As a result, the current new generation of Jujutsu teachers is not enough. I don't know, as long as it doesn't interfere with me, I don't care about this kind of thing. Upon hearing this, Gojo Satoru pondered for a moment. By the way, the monk named Shofu Throne died while you were in retreat. Before I leave, I want to ask you to help Falyongji in Kyoto. They also have demons that have been sealed. Wow, advertisement. And quaint scripture appeared on the table. This book is his reward. I went back and estimated it. If this book is auctioned, it will be about 1 million yuan. Gojo Satoru is very pertinent. He didn't substitute his emotions. Ryuichi took the scriptures and turned a few pages casually. A faint Sanskrit sound appeared in the ear. It seems to be an excerpt by a master of Taoism himself. Have you seen it there? I have seen it. There is no sign of mantra power activity under the Buddha statue. The devil should have broken through the seal long ago and ran away, but it didn't cause a killing, they didn't know it. Hearing that, Ryuichi rolled his eyes, leaving the book still on the table. Then you said this is to amuse me. No, how can it be called pastime? People asked me to hand over things to you, I can't just give it back without saying anything, right? Gojo Satoru put the book in his hands, feeling the peace of mind. In fact, it's also great to be a collection at home. But there is no such fate. Stop talking, it's time to go back and have a meeting with those old guys, or I'll be scolded by Principal Yaga again. At this moment, steady footsteps came from outside the door. Yo, blind man, you are here too, don't you want to talk again? Hello teacher. Oh, it's better for Wei Wei, not like a lame man, who doesn't know what is good or bad. I have something else. Let's talk next time. Bye. Bang. Fuheshir staggered. You. Just about to get angry, the guy Gojo Satoru has disappeared. It's bad luck. Hello Uncle Ryuichi. Fushiguro Megumi saw Ryuichi and asked hello very well. The jade pendant I took here before saved his life. This also made him fully aware of how powerful the terrifying young man in front of him was. Sit down. Haha, we won't sit down, there will be business in a while. Recently, this kid is often arranged to recycle cursed objects, so I want to come to you to get something to put cursed objects. Bang. A gorgeous box appeared on the desktop. This thing is familiar. This is not the one from Zenin's. Well, they brought that thing over. I thought the box was pretty good, so I just processed it. Hearing Ryuichi's indifferent tone, Fuheshir turned silver. Advertisement. No way. Who makes him the boss? The two took things and left. Tweeted. Boom. Tweeted. Boom. The sky was getting dark, and fireworks were set off outside. Pedestrians on the street stopped one after another, wishing to the sky. I hope that the new year will be more beautiful and happier. At this time, the underground secret room of a villa. In the dark room, only the light was on in the middle. Looking closer, I found that the light source was actually an operating table. A shriveled old man was lying motionless on it, ta-ta-ta. A figure gradually appeared beside the operating table. I thought that after Sha Yuja followed Zenin Ryuichi, my plan would be stranded without restrictions. Unexpectedly, in this world, there are actually sealed masters besides Tien Yuan. Kamo Shanlun looked at the corpse in front of him greedily. His hands are floating above it, his expression is enjoyable, as if he is touching his lover. It would be nice if you were 30 years younger, your body is still a bit old now. Buzzing. The black light appeared again, attracting his attention. This is... Kamo Shanlun saw the whole picture clearly, his pupils tightened. No more time wasting. After a long time, the darkness receded like a tide. There is no sound, no light. The young man clenched his fists and felt the energy of his body. The sharp eyes, the determined face, and the strong muscles all tell the strength of his body. It seems that your luck is really bad. If you let me get to know you sooner, the two of us might still be able to form an alliance. Unexpectedly you still have this kind of thing. The white pendant on the chest glowed slightly under the shadow of the shadowless lamp. Now, everything about you is mine. Ha ha ha. Good good. With this body, the plan can still be implemented. With his hands knotted, the terrifying curse power instantly enveloped him. Put the things in his hands back. A figure without an inch was standing there. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Suddenly, the room was swallowed by darkness. It has been prepared for 6 days. Put all the things in his hands on the side of the operating table. Chapter 360 Advertisement time has come to spring, and the weather is getting warmer. Amaterasu did not appear, and the hotspots on the internet were gradually replaced by entertainment gossip. After all, the pace of life is so fast, everyone is forgetful. It was just that after that incident, many people offered portraits of the great god, Amaterasu, in their homes. This situation directly hit all foreign sects in the country. A church in Shanzawa, Sendai City. Boom, the church door shattered directly. A dark figure was smashed out. Then, 2 figures, one black and one white, flashed out of it. Ryuichi stepped on the cursed spirit and asked Gojo Satoru. Sorrow, I can meet you on a mission, you guys are following me, are you? Wait a minute. Gojo Satoru, who was about to explain, took the phone and walked to the side. The air is relaxed and the tone is humorous, which does not seem to be a big deal. Ho ho ho. That guy left. It's now. The cursed spirit began to shake wildly. I want to escape the control of these 2 humans while Gojo Satoru answers the phone. It's noisy. Boom. Boom. 1 foot down. The head of cursed spirit shattered directly. The body is like weathered plastic, disappearing with the wind. Bang bang bang. He patted the non-existent sand on his leg. Megumi is here to take Ryōmen Sukuna's finger, and I will stop by here to travel. Well, I'm a very qualified teacher, right? Gojo Satoru raised his arm and lit up the bag in his hand. It is marked with Zaiju Shuian, which seems to be a dessert here. You are a teacher, so eclectic. If Vohesher knew about this, the two must be in another big battle. Thinking of this, Ryuichi's eyes lit up. A long-lost smile appeared on his face. The guy Ryōmen Sukuna seems to be showing up. Stop talking about me, are you sure that you can deal with that boss? Looking at the badly damaged church in front of him, Gojo Satoru has reason to suspect that the boss will have a heart attack when he sees it. My responsibility is to eliminate cursed spirit, and I can't take care of the rest. Ha ha ha, as expected to be Zenin Ryuichi. I'm going to meet with Wei Wei now, do you want to come together? There was a hint of interest in Ryuichi's bright eyes. Let's go. The next day, in the evening, the figures of Gojo Satoru and Ryuichi appeared at the entrance of the middle school. Ryuichi looked at the bag in Gojo Satoru's hand. Advertisement. Are you not afraid that something will happen to Fuheiwei? The fellow sheer goes crazy. I won't help you. Anne, didn't he carry the cursed tool you gave him? Even if it was me, it would be difficult to quickly kill him without using Andichao. What are you afraid of? Eat it. Ryuichi looked at the dessert handed over and shook his head. With a teacher like you, I don't know if it is his luck or his misfortune. Gojo Satoru was eating dessert with a happy smile on his face, as if the entire sky had turned pink. At the same time, the corridor in the middle of the teaching building. Itadori Yuji is struggling to fight cursed spirit. A-hole, shouldn't you run away with them at this time? Fushiguro Megumi was wounded, kneeling and sitting in a light blue protective cover. Seeing that Itadori Yuji came back again, he was short of breath. The cursed spirit can only be eliminated by curse. It doesn't make any sense for you to do so. I know too, but you won't be dead if I leave. Boom. After that, Itadori was punched by cursed spirit. The cursed object in his hand was instantly thrown into the air. Not good. Itadori Yuji knew that this thing could not be swallowed by cursed spirit. As soon as he pressed his legs, his body instantly vacated. I was about to grab my fingers. Snapped. The whole person was firmly held in his hands by the cursed spirit. Itadori Yuji can't care about the physical pain at the moment. It must be God. The finger happened to be in the mouth. When cursed spirit saw this, he was eating anyway. It's not bad to eat with this human. Use your arms. Desperately pressed towards the mouth. Hurry up and bring things here, it's safe inside the protective cover. Itadori Yuji did not hear Fushiguro Megumi's words at this moment. Do not know why. Looking at the fingers in his mouth, the previous conversation with Fushiguro Megumi emerged from the bottom of my heart. Why do you have to eat it? Tasty. Single quote. Of course not, eating it is of course to gain powerful spells. Single quote. I didn't have time to think deeply about the pain in my body at home. It doesn't matter, there is only one way now. As long as I have curse power, won't this matter be solved? Fuhei. Call. The finger was thrown in the air, it fell directly into his mouth. Did not hesitate. Guru. The fingers slipped into his stomach in an instant. Fushiguro Megumi's eyes widened, watching the scene before him. This situation is beyond his understanding. That's Ryōmen Sukuna's finger, premium cursed object. Advertisement, he will die, do not, will definitely die. Base. Base. Two figures in black and white appeared behind him. Hello, Wei Wei. Accepting a cursed object makes it so embarrassing. Take it, go back and let those second graders take a look. Bang 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 bang. The flash fired randomly at one pass. Hearing this familiar voice, an instant sense of security burst. However, Mr. Gojo still wants to beat him with this behavior. Teacher. This guy swallowed Ryōmen Sukuna's fingers. Oh, pouch. Itadori Yuji took one of his hands. The two arms that had previously imprisoned him turned into debris in the sky. Quack quack. Boom boom boom. Not to be outdone, cursed spirit rushed towards him, about to swallow this human being. Call. Here. 5 strong winds passed. The huge cursed spirit was instantly cut to pieces. At this time, moonlight shone on the platform through dark clouds. Hume. Itadori Yuji's body is covered with black curse marks, and his body is full of huge curse power. There are also extra eyes on his face. The whole person laughed loudly at the sky, just like a successful prisoner who escaped from prison. Unscrupulously exuding his own joy. The body of cursed spirit is still too boring. What about humans? What about women? Shoo! What a beautiful time, all kinds of fresh lives spread all over the world like maggots. It's so wonderful. Fushiguro Megumi looked at Ryōmen Sukuna in front of him, and said to himself that it was not good. Sure enough, this guy was still parasitized. Teacher, he. Before he finished speaking, the figure behind Gojo Satoru caught his attention. Zenin Ryuichi. Why is this man here? Ta-ta-ta. Zenin Ryuichi stepped forward and looked at Ryōmen Sukuna on the railing. You guy, how long are you going to be exposed like this? Huh? Unexpectedly, for so long, there are still people who know this uncle's name. You are ready to accept death. Snapped. His right hand grabbed his neck directly. Ryōmen Sukuna looked sluggish, and hadn't figured out the current situation. The curse of the body gradually disappeared, and the consciousness was gradually suppressed back. This guy's body.